gorgeous day in South Florida. Come on inside Sun Life Stadium. The Marlins and the Reds will do it again. It's a 4-game series. This would be game 2. Very good game in game 1. The Reds won it in extra innings. And a local kid, Wes Helms, taking a look at Bronson Arroyo from a long ways away. Hanley is hot right now, but not hot enough for the Fish last night. They lost in 10, and they go to Nate Robertson. He gets the start for the Marlins tonight. Hi, everybody. Rich Waltz along with Tommy Hutton. Our mothers told us you only get one chance to make a good first impression. And if that's the case, the Marlins are a terrible first date. Because the first game of a series, Tommy, they've been awful this year.
Yeah, they have. Against the Mets, against the Dodgers, against the Reds, they have lost that first game. All you can do, and the Marlins were able to do it last night, they just couldn't capitalize. All you can do is keep putting yourself in that position to get a key hit and win a game.
Let's talk about a guy that has a lot of key hits in a lot of different situations, and he's getting the start against a right-hander tonight, and that's Ronnie Paulino, who came through again last night.
Yeah, he did. Freddie told us that Ronnie would see a start in this series because of the slew of right-handers the Marlins will be seeing. Now, that's part of it. The other part of it, he's gotten big base hits in New York, driving in Wes Helms. How about the double he hit the other night with bases loaded against the Dodgers, out of the reach of Matt Kemp? So Ronnie Paulino has hit extremely well, and now you even take it into last night. He was able to get this infield base hit. Brandon Phillips couldn't make the play, and that tied the ball game. Ronnie's also had some success against Bronson Arroyo, the Reds starter in the game tonight.
Our AT&T trivia question, we usually wait till like the 3rd or the 4th inning. I'll throw this one out there for anybody. Which Marlins starter has the only win among starters this year?
How about Nate Robertson?
You are the winner. Isn't that something, though?
All right, Nate Robertson's going tonight, the veteran left-hander. And I would say the one main guy he's going to have to deal with as you see him working against the Mets. Good outing, 5 innings, gave up just 1 run. The key for Nate, no walks in that game. Orlando Cabrera is 10 for 24 against Nate Robertson. He's a guy they've matched up in both leagues, I'm sure. So he's going to have to be careful of him. Bronson Arroyo, he has some guys to deal with. Jorge Cantu, Dan Uggla, and we mentioned Ronnie Paulino.
Look at those numbers against the Cardinals. He got hit in the shin on a line drive in the 2nd inning and kind of gutted that out and pitched brilliantly for 8 innings. Key West born, raised in Central Florida, Bronson Arroyo getting ready to face the Fish, the Marlins, and the Reds in Game 2 from Sun Life Stadium. We've got lineups, first pitch, all kinds of stuff coming up. Marlins and Reds are both 4 and 3 were moments before first pitch to get us underway. Craig Minervini, Jeff Conine. Gentlemen.
Thank you, Rich. Oh, this close last night. Tough one for Marlins fans and the team, but they'll bounce back. Now let's look at a key moment of the game. In the ninth inning, and we didn't show you the Paulino strikeout, but keep in mind, Paulino strikes out, bases loaded, make a second out, and then Cody comes up here with a tough right-handed pitcher.
3-2, bases loaded. You know, you got a tough right-hander out there. He's throwing the mid to upper 90s. You know, you've got, as a hitter, you got 0.4 of a second to react and recognize that pitch. That guy's got a pretty good sinker. He's throwing hard, and, you know, your adrenaline's flowing. You want to be the guy. You want to be that guy that gets in the winning run. And, you know, you look at that. We have the beauty of replay and the Fox track, and it looks like a really low pitch out of the strike zone. But I guarantee you, Cody Ross didn't see that far out of the strike zone. And you saw him come down to first base and ask Dave Collins, first base coach, ball 4, and Dave agreed, yes, ball 4. But it's tough to argue that swing right there for me.
He got a good piece of wood on it, just didn't come through in this spot. Here's what Cody's thoughts. I talked with him this afternoon about that one as he looks to shake it off for the game tonight.
His fastball is 95 with the sink on it, and you know, you see that pitch up in the zone, and then all of a sudden it's diving down. You know, you only have a split second to make a decision.
Yep, a split second is all it takes for that situation, and he knew it too. I wasn't sure if he knew exactly that, but he did.
Well, you think about too, at bat before that, you got bases loaded, 1 out. A lot of ways to get a guy in, and Ronnie unfortunately strikes out.
Marlins couldn't come up with the win. They've had a lot of them, though, and from the comeback variety already, and they'll try to even up this series here tonight. Nate Robertson takes on Bronson Arroyo. Rich Walsh and Tommy Hutton will call it for you. They're on Fox Sports Florida next.
Florida is brought to you by Checkers. Little place, big taste. By Geico. 15 minutes could save you 50% or more on car insurance. Visit us at geico.com or call 1-800-947-AUTO. And by Toyota, moving forward. Tuesday night at the ballpark, the Reds and the Marlins. And is a tradition here on Marlins baseball on Fox Sports Florida for the past 5 years. We continue once again with Email Tuesday. Here's the address. AskTheMarlins at Fox.com. AskTheMarlins at Fox.com. Send us your question throughout the night. We'll get to as many as we can. If we don't get to your question, well, maybe we'll get to it next week. But we'll do all we can tonight. We'll see how this game goes. The Reds and the Marlins. The Reds will come to the plate in this orderly fashion. Drew Stubbs, the Swift Texan, is in center field. Orlando Cabrera is at shortstop. Joey Votto at first. Brandon Phillips at second. Scott Rowland last night, 3 hits, 2 homers. Big night, and he's having a nice start to the season. Johnny Gomes is out in left field. Jay Bruce is in right. Brian Hannigan, a very solid defensive catcher, gets the start behind the plate. Bronson Arroyo in the 9 spot.
Now you take a look at Nate Robertson. He has had one career start against the Cincinnati Reds. It was during interleague play, and he pitched very well. 7 1/3 innings, gave up 3 hits and no runs. The key for Nate, keep the ball in the strike zone, change speeds. That's what he did in New York.
First pitch, ground ball. Hanley Ramirez straightens up, throws low, and Gabby Sanchez bails him out big time.
Well, you talk about big time bail. That was it.
And Hanley knew last night, having watched Stubbs leg out an infield single when he slipped on a ball, that Stubbs can really fly.
Yeah, with Stubbs up there with his speed, you're going to have to shorten up maybe a half a step in the infield so you can get to that ball quicker.
Orlando Cabrera. Tommy pointed out Cabrera's had success against Robertson, and he takes down low. The Colombian shortstop last night was 1 for 5. That one, though, was a home run. Pitch didn't miss by much. Jeff Kellogg is calling balls and strikes. Larry Vanover, Mark Carlson, C.B. Buckner on the bases. 10 for 24 with 4 RBIs against Robertson, who pours in a strike. That one's out. Robertson, of course, a late spring acquisition from the Tigers. Those are his career numbers. Has battled injury issues for the last couple of seasons, especially last year. Shoulder and a groin injury. 6 years in the Tigers rotation. Cabrera smacks it into center. Maben wanders over and makes the catch.
Now we'll take a look at the defense for the Marlins tonight with Chris Coughlin and Cody Ross flanking Cameron Maben. Jorge Cantu and Gabby. Gabby with a nice pick on the throw from Hanley. Dan Ugglas at second and Ronnie Paulino behind the plate.
So it's Joey Votto now. Votto last night was 1 for 4. He drew the leadoff walk in the 10th inning that turned into the winning run. Robertson snaps off pretty good breaking ball. It's 1-1.
Rich, you were talking about Nate Robertson and his run with the Tigers. I don't know if he's physically capable, but he had a 3-year stretch where he averaged 32 starts and 200 innings. And that would fit nicely in the Marlins rotation.
You know, that was so well synced, that whole fit nicely in. I thought you were talking about the guy's hot dog. He went around, and it's 2-2. Chew your food. It's a 9-inning game. Here's the 2-2. It's down low, and it's 3-2. Votto, the Canadian. Interesting interview last night with Allison Williams after the ball game. That play at first base, as he pointed out, his pitcher who came over to cover wasn't looking at him. That's why he didn't flip the ball to first. And it almost was a costly play for the Reds defensively. Here's another look at it.
Yeah, and from our vantage point, we can't tell that his big pitcher was not looking at it, but he took his eye off of it to look at the bag. And Votto looked at second, look at Cabrera pointing. He's saying, no, get the out at first base. So he goes to flip it, and his pitcher was looking at second base, not at Joey Votto.
That's one of those plays where you first look at it and you think, what was Votto thinking on that? But then you break it down, and Allison asked a good question, and Votto, I give him a lot of credit. He was very patient, and he went through the whole play and talked about, in that situation, if I flip it to him and he's not looking at me, that could cost us a run. That will cost the Reds an out. Joey Votto is picked off. Great snap throw by the lefty, Nate Robertson. Marlins coming up. We're just underway. first, press the SAT button on your remote or on your set if you'd like Spanish language to this telecast. Marlins lineup looks this way, very familiar. Chris Coghlan leads it off. Cogs in left field. Cameron Maybin, a couple hits last night. Hanley, 2 hits last night. Jorge Cantu. How about Cantu? Against Bronson Arroyo, he's 6 for 20. This year, Cantu has already driven in a dozen runs. Dan Uggla, Ronnie Paulino, Cody Ross, Gabby Sanchez, and Nate Robertson. And Arroyo sends up a changeup that floats outside.
Arroyo with an array of various pitches, various arm angles, changes speeds extremely well.
Fifth year in Cincinnati for this 33-year-old. A long time ago, growing up in, well, both Key West, where he was born, and then later Brooksville, Florida, was a third-round draft pick of the Pittsburgh Pirates. And although the win-loss record isn't all that impressive, the number of starts and the innings pitched are one of the keys when you look at Bronson Arroyo's career as a Red.
Hey, he would be a great trivia answer. In the National League over the last 4 years, he's #1 in games started and innings pitched. So a durable guy, a guy who takes the ball every 5 days and goes out there. And had a tremendous second half. Final 2 months of the season last year were tremendous for him.
Coghlan pops that pitch up, and that's a great example, Tommy, of how Chris Coghlan is getting himself out right now.
Well, an assortment of off-speed stuff, and then finally, with a couple of strikes on him, Arroyo came up and in with his fastball, which is not a 98-mile-an-hour fastball, but after all the off-speed stuff, that ball tied up Chris.
Here's Maybin. Cameron had a special guest during batting practice today. His father here from North Carolina. Tried to bunt it, and he tipped it.
Got to come down, hang out around the batting cage.
Batting average slowly climbing. Hanley's on deck. We're just underway. Arroyo making start number 2 of the season.
He's the kind of guy Arroyo is for a right-handed hitter especially. As I said, not overpowering, but he's uncomfortable because you get an assortment of stuff.
Fires it over to first. The Reds defensively.
Well, we talked about it last night. They're a great defensive ball club, especially in the infield. Gomes in left, Stubbs with a lot of speed in center field, but here comes all the Gold Gloves. 7 for Roland, 2 for Cabrera, 1 for Phillips, and behind the plate, a guy who led all National League catchers in fielding percentage last year, Ryan Hannigan.
Dusty Baker. Fun game to watch, and I expect a fun game to manage for both Freddie Gonzalez and Dusty Baker. There was a lot of wheels turning late in the ball game, pitching changes, pinch hitting situations. Reds tried a double steal with runners at first and third. The Marlins got a strikeout throw out at the plate on a terrific play by Hanley Ramirez, who caught the ball in front of the bag. John Baker blocked the plate.
I would suspect Freddie would agree, yeah, fun game, but he might also say, give me one of those 8-run cushions. That would be fun, too.
If Arroyo were left-handed, he would be crafty, and I think for right-handers, maybe stylish is a good way to describe them. Hanley's early season average up to 360 with 2 more hits. 9 walks in 7 games. Pitchers being very careful. And one of the reasons why is Hanley can hit the ball really far and really hard.
Good play by the gentleman who brought his glove. Look at that. Nice
play.
And that's confidence. Bring your glove and sit way down the left field line.
All right, straighten it out, Hanley.
1-2. Breaking ball, he hooked it, rolling, charging, throws on the run in time, and Bronson Arroyo goes 1-2-3 against the Fish in the first. We throw out the ceremonial first email when we return. The between inning song, Elvis Presley apparently stirring that photographer to dance. 0-1 the count. Email Tuesday, our first email from Arthur in Louisville, Kentucky.
I mean, this is we should have a drum roll for this one. Not only our first tonight, but our first of the season.
It's from Arthur in Louisville, Kentucky. Arthur wants to know, and that, by the way, I believe is the home of the Reds AAA franchise.
Mm-hmm.
Who has a better mustache, Nate Robertson or Tommy Hutton when he was a Philly? Brandon Phillips is up, and Phillips shoots it up into the seats.
Nate's is kind of he's got the one. What do you call that? It goes down a little bit further.
A little Fu Manchu.
Yeah, he's got the Fu Manchu. Mine didn't go down quite that far.
You got the good sideburns going
Had
too.
the good burns going, yeah.
Here's the 1-2, and it's down low. We've already acquired a ton of emails in our email bag, and we've had numerous questions about Alfredo Amezaga, wanting to know where is Amezaga, and the Dodgers were just here. He was reassigned to the minor leagues for the Dodgers, still nursing that knee injury. Out in a right center field, that ball is really kissed. Off the wall it goes. Maben picks it up. I think a fan touched it, but the exciting Brandon Phillips has himself a double.
He's working on a little 4-game hitting streak, second double this year. That's one of the reasons, talking about Amezaga, as you watch this swing at Phillips. A little bit out over the plate, but he shows his power the opposite field. It's one of the reasons the Marlins did not re-sign him. They knew that he wouldn't be game ready for half a year. And the Marlins aren't in a position to put out that kind of money for someone who's not going to play for a half a year. And then when he does, you're not sure how it's going to be.
So Amezaga, according to the Dodger folks that we talked to, mid-season is when they think he will be game ready. Scott Rowland was game ready last night. He was game ready in the first inning when he homered to right against Ricky Nolasco.
Rich, Scott Rowland has been game ready since he won Rookie of the Year in 1997.
He followed that up with a homer to left in the fourth. And then the RBI single, one of the softest balls hit all night off the end of his bat that just got over Ugla, turned into the game winner in the 10th inning.
But one of the nicest swings. Solid career numbers. And as we mentioned last night, a good solid year this year. He'll go over 300 home runs.
Last night we were talking about Rowland and his impact on this team as a veteran. And his impact last night, we've shown you the home runs. This was that single off the end of the bat.
Little breaking ball from the hopper, and he just stayed with it. Didn't pull off. A little bit off the end of the bat, but hit it perfectly.
Makes his offseason home in Bloomington, Indiana.
I know you talked to him about that choice and the opportunity for him to be with Cincinnati.
And that was one of the big reasons why he okayed the trade from Toronto to the Reds, is the fact that it's so close to home. He's got a couple young kids that are getting ready to start school, and he wanted them to start in Bloomington. And Rowland takes inside. So Nate Robertson has given up a leadoff double to Brandon Phillips. And he has walked Scott Rowland. Fiesta Fridays. Every Friday at the ballpark. April 30th, 7:10. Los Marlins face the Nationals. And it's the annual Bark at the Park night, so bring your dogs to the game. Fans can play Billy Bingo for the chance to win a Marlins military cap, courtesy of Geico. 1-877-MARLINS. Johnny Gomes rips one left field and deep and gone. A walk-off winner earlier this year. Johnny Gomes just launched one just shy of the blue seats. We told you last night, he's one of those all-or-nothing guys, a huge swing, and when he connects, stuff like this happens.
Now, look where he got this slider that didn't slide in on his hands, and that quick, aggressive swing took it out of here in a hurry. You're right, he had a walk-off against the hard-throwing right-hander Jason Mott to the St. Louis Cardinals to win that game.
Jay Bruce now. So the Reds have played long ball here. Remember the number we gave you last night, how the Reds did most of their homering at home. That ball's hit deep down the right field line, a towering shot, and it is gone. That's a home run. Wow. Now Ronnie Polino is saying it's foul. Cody Ross is saying it's foul. Freddie Gonzalez is coming out, and this may be one to review. Although I'll be honest with you, that ball was hit so high, it may not have gone around the foul pole on either side. It may have gone over the foul pole.
Well, this is certainly a case where a ball could be reviewed on this particular call.
See where it lands? That's a fair ball, isn't it?
Yeah, right. If you look at it right in that area, it looks like it's behind the pole. It looks from that angle as if it is a home run.
Oh, maybe it's in front. Look, see the white dot?
Oh, I can see it, yeah.
See the white dot?
Right in there.
So if you see the dot there,
that means it's in front of the pole.
And it's a foul ball.
So now the umpires will get together.
Now, as the umpires go down to the little viewing room, Robertson, his reaction. The umpires will go, the views that they will get are the views that will come from New York, as they take all the different video feeds that come from this ball game from both our telecast and the Reds telecast, New York will then show them all the views they have, and that's how the umpires will determine it.
And it's going to be a tough call. They'll look at all the angles as you look over the replay review, because I'm sure Tom Brenneman and Chris Welch are over on the Red side, their TV side, saying, hey, that ball's fair. But we looked at it at an angle that it appeared the ball was in front of the pole, so it appeared to be foul, but very tough to tell.
Now, the manager cannot demand a replay review, but he sure can suggest one. And I think Freddie went out, and as the letter of the law says, you can't demand one, but you can say, hey, why don't you take a look at it? And that, you know, as we look at it in slow motion over and over again, you see the ball pass in front.
You do, but I will say there's a part of you that almost looks like it goes behind.
Yeah, but
the guy with the best angle is Cody Ross, and he came in immediately.
In our tape room, when they stopped the tape where the ball was right on the pole, you could see the ball in the middle of the thick part of the foul pole. And the umpires don't have far to go.
Well, I think what makes that such a tough call is it was hit so high. A lot of times those balls that are hit down the line are line drive types that curl either around or in front of the foul pole. Now, the guy with probably the best angle is Dusty Baker, because he's sitting there looking right down the right field line. So Dusty, who hit 242 career home runs himself, had the best view of just about anybody.
All right, we're going to blow it up and enhance it.
So it's in front.
There.
Right there. You can see it in front. If you would lose it, you would not see that if it were behind the pole. But when it's by the screen area, it's really hard to distinguish. Dusty kind of has that look. He's got that look. Yeah,
he knows. He knows. He probably has told Bruce, hey, get a bat and stay loose.
Hey,
you know, may still be up.
We talked about Gold Gloves. Dusty Baker won a Gold Glove 1981. He was an All-Star 2 times. He was a National League Championship MVP. I remember that series, the Dodgers against the Philadelphia Phillies, 1977. Dusty hit a couple of home runs in that series.
And so Robertson trying to stay loose. Still, the impact of this inning, a 3-run shot by Johnny Gomes, and then Jay Bruce pumps one out, even fair or foul, an impressive shot.
The bottom line is right now, Nate Robertson is not making pitches. The ball hit by Brandon Phillips, the double that led the inning off, was hit over 400 feet. Then he walked Roland, and Gomes crushed his home run, his 3-run shot, and the ball hit by Bruce was hit a long way.
So far, it's a 5-minute delay, and here they come, and it's a foul ball.
That's good work by our crew as well.
Now Dusty's going to come out and get the official explanation.
And at this point, you really can't argue.
No, you can't. On a review,
you cannot argue.
But you can get an explanation.
Yeah.
Hey, what did you see?
Yeah, I think our guys, our crew, did a great job in letting you see where it went. And the decision made by the crew, if you look at the bottom line, crew chief is final and cannot be argued or protested by either team. So good stuff.
Give an assist to Cody Ross, who came in immediately waving his arms. And we'll see if Robertson, in fact, can get Jay Bruce or keep him from hitting one in the seats. Here's the 1-2.
Of course, Nate made his Major League debut as a Marlin in Pittsburgh back in September of '02. Not quite the command and control he had in New York. And that's one of the things he needs to have because he's not overpowering.
Ground ball, base hit right field. So it's not a home run, but it's a base hit. And Robertson has yet to get an out here in the second inning. Back to our email bag. Colin wants to know who has the most home runs in Marlins history amongst Marlins players. If Dan Uggla has a Dan Uggla type season, we had that in New York, he will eclipse the Marlin record. Broken back, ground ball, Hanley. There's Uggla and the turn in time.
That sure helps right there.
Miguel Cabrera has 138. Mike Lowell is the all-time leader with 143 home runs in Marlins history.
And Dan Uggla sitting now on 122. Shattered bat, and look at the feed from Hanley. Dan Uggla right there. Those guys have done that a few times. We've told you the only double play combination longer together, Chase Utley and Jimmy Rollins, our checkers double play of the game.
Bronson Arroyo now. Tom in Miami, when do you think Mike Stanton will be making his major league debut?
If I were to guess, and this is just a guess, a lot of it depends on what happens here. A lot of it depends on what happens with Mike Stanton, who's gotten off to a good start first couple of games. I would guess after the All-Star break, whether it be August or September, I don't know.
I'm going with right before the All-Star break.
Okay. That would be fine with me, too.
I'm going July 1st or 2nd.
All right.
Three and one. Alex from Parkland with the acquisition of Nate Robertson. What happens to Andrew Miller, Sean West, and Rick Vandenhurst? 3-1 coming. It's fouled off.
Well, right now, Sean West and Andrew Miller are nursing various injuries. Rick Vandenhurst, as Craig and Niner were talking about on Marlins on Deck, had a nice outing, his first outing of the year.
Strike three called at the knees. Now goes Arroyo. Boom go the Reds. 3-run shot. The pride of Petaluma strikes again. Where is Petaluma? I'm going to tell you. Their emails. Well, they come into this computer, and if this computer misses it, Tommy has a new computer. Look at this thing,
and they come into this one.
Incredible.
So we got it covered either way.
We have a Alex Gonzalez Seabass question that just came across.
Just talking to Orlando Cabrera about Alex Gonzalez.
Yes, we were. All right, let's get the inning started before we go Seabass on you. As Jorge Cantu steps in against Bronson Arroyo. Cantu, Uggla, and Ronnie Polino. Arroyo staked to a 3-0 lead. And there's the changeup. It's from Mike in Forest Hills, New York. Please settle an argument between me and my wife. Which Alex Gonzalez is nicknamed Seabass? Is it the Alex Gonzalez that played for the Marlins, Reds, Red Sox, and now Blue Jays? Or the Alex Gonzalez, who I believe is from Miami, that played for the Blue Jays, Cubs, Rays, and is now out of baseball? I say it's the latter. As a lifelong Marlins fan, I never remember the Marlin Alex Gonzalez being called Seabass. That one to third. Roland throws out Cantu. There's nothing riding on this but household bragging rights. Hut, the answer, please.
Well, it's the first Alex Gonzalez. Hey, I wanted to show you how difficult Bronson Arroyo is. These were the outs in the first inning. Watch this. Ties up Chris Coughlin, ball not hit well. Off speed, little dribbler off the end of the bat, back to the mound. Hanley Ramirez, off the end of the bat, not hit well. Even the ball hit by Jorge Cantu, not hit well. He's a tough guy to square up and hit a ball hard against. I don't know who tagged Alex with the Seabass. The nickname.
The origination of the nickname, as I understand it, was because Alex was a very nice guy. Generally had kind of a blank look on his face. Very serious looking, yeah. And, you know, as clubhouse humor goes, the guy that is extremely serious gets a nickname. And so, Seabass. And it's also a staple on all Marlin charter flights.
Except he had a great smile after the home run against Jeff Weaver.
1-2, Uggla takes down low. Arroyo's another guy, too, that changes speeds off his fastball so well that it's not fastball straight change. It's, you know, one fastball comes in at one speed, another fastball has a little more on it or a little less off it.
That's a whole different story. When you're a hitter and you're facing a guy who throws everything hard, everything's coming at the same speed, don't care how hard it is, pretty soon you'll catch up to it and you'll time it. But when every pitch is a different speed, look at that, 81 miles an hour on that one to strike out Dan Uggla.
There's his pitch range from 88, where he tops out with his fastball, to 67. We've seen plenty of fastballs come in at 84, 85. Paulino getting the start against Arroyo. 6 for 12 in his career against this guy. Jeff wants to know, any word on Brett Carroll's status? Saw him play in Jupiter on Friday night. He looked great. What was his injury?
Well, the good news is that he is playing in Jupiter. He had an oblique strain and obviously is doing well, and it's just going to have to get himself back in shape to game ready. Even that fastball wasn't straight.
Cody Ross is on deck, and Arroyo misses inside. Earlier tonight, in our minor league report, just an update on some names in New Orleans. Rick Vandenherk, a nice start. Ryan Tucker had a good start as well. Logan Morrison is a solid start with Scott Cousins. That's in New Orleans. Look at Stanton in Double-A right now.
And a little struggle for Matt Dominguez, the third baseman.
There's your Brett Carroll note.
I think it's interesting with Ryan Tucker, who we saw in a relief role, but in the minor leagues, the Marlins want to get him to get some innings, get some work, and I think that's good that he's in a starting role and learning how to pitch a little bit.
Cody Cody Ross takes up and in. This is game 8 of the season. And Ross is still searching for his first home run. Breaking ball, a strike.
And that on a 2-0 pitch. That's just the old get me over curveball, because I know Cody Ross isn't looking for it.
Almost a quick pitch, and Arroyo will do that with a runner at first, and he'll come to the stretch and really vary his time to the plate.
And that was a changeup, or just took something off the fastball, 80 miles an hour.
You saw that it missed the Fox track strike zone. That as straight a ball as you're going to find from Arroyo. When he throws the fastball at top speed, that one straightened out.
And that was it, 87. That's about where he can get to.
Paulino will be running. Arroyo gave up a bunch of home runs last year. 31 to be exact, but you got to take that with a grain of salt because of the ballpark in which he pitches. Great American Ballpark. That's why it's so puzzling to me to look at these red starters, Harang, Arroyo, Cueto, all these guys that pitch well, don't have great records because the Reds haven't scored runs in the last few years. Ross hammers that ball with Paulino running. He may score. Into the gap it goes. Rumbling around third comes Paulino. And he will score. Cody Ross, RBI double. That's a good at bat.
100th double of Cody Ross's career. Now he can work on his second 100. Well, he got that 3-2 pitch and one of the few mistakes out over the plate. Nicely done by Cody Ross. And because Ronnie Paulino was on the move, he was able to score. This is a nice run. This is like stealing a run, because with 2 out, the walk to Paulino allowed Cody Ross to get to the plate and drive in Ronnie.
Gabby Sanchez. This is the type of guy that I'm anxious to see Gabby hit against. There are pitchers like this that Sanchez hasn't seen. But he's so patient. He has that compact swing. You want to see how he'll do. Same feeling when Charlie Hager, the knuckleballer, was out there for the Dodgers. Sanchez drives that ball out in a right center field. It's Jay Bruce who comes on and makes the catch. Hitting over, Marlins get a run. Reds are still on top, 3-1. Schwartz along with Tommy Hutton, Craig Minervini, Jeff Conine, our buddies from Gainesville, checking in for the first time this year. Very serious question for you both. What is our favorite food to eat at the ballpark? And it's got to be cotton candy. The guys from Gainesville, I think.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. The guys from Gainesville, absolutely.
One of our favorites as well. Drew Stubbs.
I think high on the list, too, lately is the smoked turkey sandwich. Remember the fan who brought us
on opening
day? It was a nice gesture. Those are great.
The cheese wheel that Bernie Brewer delivered in Milwaukee.
Yeah.
Oh, was it one of the sausages?
One of the sausage brought it to us, yeah.
That's right. Bernie was up in his brew house in left field.
By the way, a little better start here, starting 0-2. But Nate Robertson, the first 9 batters that he's faced, he's had 5 3-ball counts. And he just can't work that way.
Yeah, inside corner. That's what Robertson gets. Drew Stubbs. Tonight, after the ball game, the debut of Inside the Marlins, the Bullpen. Frank Ford will have an inside look at the pitching battles. Dan Meyer and Brian Sanchez will get mic'd up for spring training. That's immediately following our telecast tonight.
And speaking of food, we usually get caught in L.A. with a Dodger dog, too.
Orlando Cabrera drives one into right field.
Hey, you and I, last night on the air, we were talking about Perry Hill and his influence on a number of infielders. How much did Orlando light up when we mentioned Perry Hill's name?
Big smile, because he and Perry Hill were very close in Montreal, and that's where Orlando won his first of 2 Gold Gloves. Here's Votto now. He walked back in the first. We have a question apparently from an accountant as income taxes are being filed this week. Do baseball players have any state income tax liability for all the states in which they play?
Yes, they do.
You'd be amazed. And I think that goes for all professional athletes, not just baseball players.
So it can get a little complicated with all the travel.
Brian in Melbourne, Australia. Good day. Enjoying your call. When is the Marlins' new stadium opening? It's 2012. This might be a double play. The Marlins turned 2. They had turned 1 double play the first week of the season, and they've turned 2 here tonight. in South Florida. Bronson Arroyo going for the Reds. Nate Robertson for the Fish, and it's Robertson who leads off in the third with Chris Coughlin and Cameron Maben on an email Tuesday night. Ask the Marlins at Fox.com. Ask the Marlins at Fox.com. And our email wrangler in the truck sending us the emails.
And we have people from all over the United States, as well as you just received one from Australia.
Leanna is our email wrangler for the night. Robertson takes high. We had a stadium question, another one from Eric in Miami. Will the new ballpark have a structure that signifies a home run feature? Like Minute Maid Park has the train, Citi Field has the apple,
right
and
out
Miller
there.
Park has the slide. Right out there in center field is going to be a water-themed home run feature. I think it's still under wraps. It could be a 70-foot Billy the Marlin that comes shooting out of the water. But I think you'll have to show up on opening day 2012 and watch to
get a first-hand look.
A Hanley Ramirez home run to get a look at it. Robertson goes after the breaking ball, and down he goes to open up the third. They have a water feature here, and it's called the Beach Zone, located right next to the Marlins bullpen. Includes 3 hot tubs, food and beverages, and one-of-a-kind experience at a Marlins game. Tommy, there's nobody in the hot tubs tonight, so book your date today. In fact, if you call right now, you could come and get in tonight.
Right now.
305-626-SAVE.
Had a nice conversation with the Marlins Senior Vice President of Communications and Broadcasting, P.J. Loyello. P.J. and a contingent of Marlins folks went up to the opening of Target Field.
And, you know, there's a home run feature at Target Field.
Yeah, they think it's a little more friendly to left-handed hitters. They love the ballpark. They got a nice little tour. There weren't really a lot of wow moments in the ballpark, but certainly a nice facility. In the first game, won by Carl Pavano.
Wow.
How about that?
That's a wow factor.
Yeah. Starting pitcher.
In center field, the old logo of the Twins had the 2 ball players, one signifying Minneapolis, the other St. Paul, the Twin Cities. And when the Twins hit a home run, the 2 guys shake hands out in center field. So they kind of light up and do the little handshake thing.
Yeah, Carl Pavano off to a good start. That was his second win. He's 2-0 this year.
Coughlin battling. He popped out his first time up, and he went after the same type of pitch, up and in, and he pops it out to Brandon Phillips.
Subconsciously, what happens when you get yourself in one of these struggles, 5 for 35 now, is that you swing at pitches that you don't normally swing at. And when Chris was locked in last year, we didn't see him chase that pitch that was out of the zone. And again, a big sweeping breaking ball comes up and in, out of the strike zone, a tough pitch to hit. But Arroyo gets the out.
Breaking ball is a strike to Cameron Maben. Wasting no time, going up 0-2.
Boy, he humped it up to 88, that last fastball.
He's always had some of the best hair in Major League Baseball as well.
Well, he's a musician.
Yes, he is. And a world champion with the Boston Red Sox. Maben got that off the end of the bat. Phillips is back, and he makes the catch, and Arroyo makes quick work of the Fish in the third. More emails when we return in the fourth. Nate Robertson had one shaky inning. That was the second. A double, a walk, a blast by Johnny Gomes. A near home run by Jay Bruce that was reversed by replay.
And thanks to the double play that ended the third, he came back with a 9-pitch inning. So he has a tough part of the order to deal with here.
Brandon Phillips takes down low. Scott Rowland and Johnny Gomes himself ready to appear in the fourth inning. We get emails about all kinds of subjects, serious baseball subjects, food, beverages, frivolity, all of that. Little tapper. Ugly charges, flips. Got a bullpen question, and we do have a few of these in the email box, so we'll throw this one out here. From a fan. First, I am sure that I'm one of thousands of Marlin fans who are totally fed up and frustrated with Reniel Pinto. Why do you think Freddie and Randy St. Clair continue to use him? He's been consistently unpredictable since last year. I get hives and shivers each time he comes in from the bullpen. Well, the reason the Marlins use him is they need him.
Yeah, and he's there. I mean, if you can't just get rid of him, because number one, you're paying him a pretty good salary. You hope he can kind of turn it around, because we talked about this the last couple of nights. The two left-handers in the bullpen, Dan Meyer and Reniel Pinto, you're going to need. Freddie's going to need these guys, if not in this series, against the Philadelphia Phillies, with all the lefties they have.
As we talked about last night, no manager in baseball can protect a guy or stay away from a guy or a group of guys in any bullpen, because then you are running the same relievers out every game, and once that happens, you're going to end up losing those guys to injuries.
Yeah, I was just thinking, the analogy, you have to play the hand that you're dealt, and that's the bullpen Freddie's been dealt, except in poker you can bluff. You can't bluff a bullpen.
No, and there's no way to bluff your way around that. The Marlins have had an awful start defensively. That one getting by Jorge Cantu. And that's the 12th error of the season for the Fish.
Yeah, they lead the league in that department. Not an easy play. Got the in-between hop. He tried to get there before it took that hop. Didn't get it. E5, and Roland reaches.
All right, here's Johnny Gomes, and you've been bugging me all night.
Yeah, you've been talking about the pride of Petaluma. Tell me a little bit about Petaluma.
Petaluma is in the Napa Valley in Northern California. It's where Gomes is from. He went to school at Santa Rosa Junior College, which is just north of Petaluma. Some famous facts about Petaluma. Remember the movie American Graffiti? A lot of the scenes were shot in Petaluma. And if you ever watch Wide World of Sports, once a year Keith Jackson would be in Petaluma, and it would be for the Arm Wrestling Championship of the World here in Petaluma, California. They would have I think they actually called it the wrist wrestling, or was it arm wrestling or wrist wrestling?
I think it's arm wrestling.
Arm wrestling?
Unless they've changed it.
Well, anyways, they used to, on Wide World of Sports, once a year show up in Petaluma, and all these guys that looked like loggers and bikers would get in there. And there'd always be one skinny guy that had incredible, unexplainable strength. And that's where they would hold the wrist wrestling or arm wrestling championship.
And because Johnny Gomes has done a lot for his community, they had a big parade for him a few years ago.
They had Johnny Gomes Day. And it didn't hurt that when they decided to have Johnny Gomes Day, that at that time the mayor of Petaluma was a gentleman named David Glass. And Dave Glass at one time was a major league broadcaster, did games for the San Francisco Giants. And that's all I know about Petaluma. I've been through there a few times. I grew up about 45 minutes from Petaluma. So there you go.
That's a nice little rundown.
Okay.
Not a nice inning after the ground ball out. The error, and now a hit batter. And Nate Robertson's going to have to deal with Bruce with a couple of men on.
Robertson misses outside. Phil in Berwick, Pennsylvania. With all the rumors from the past few years, do you think Dan Uggla will be a Marlin at season's end? Yes, I think so. Because I think the Marlins will be in contention in June and July when you get close to the trading deadline. And I don't think they'll want to give up a second baseman that has the type of production and power that Uggla has. Just my 2 cents.
Now, I agree with you on that.
Uggla's on base percentage, by the way, right now is .387. He's slugging .500.
He had a nice night last night that helped a lot of that. Had a 4-hit game.
Couple doubles, a homer, and 3 RBIs. There's a strike. Craig?
Tis the season, guys. Scott Rowland entered yesterday's game hitting .235. Did you see his quote after the game? He said, all of a sudden, I'm having a good year. He had 2 homers, a single, and knocked in 3. So you have one good game, and all of a sudden, you can go to a different level. 200s to the 300s.
Good pitch. Cantu comes down and makes the catch. And it was Bruce who hit that long ball that snuck inside the foul pole. Upon review, was called a foul ball. Then singled, and Robertson gets him the second time up.
You know, I think a key, certainly in that inning, after the about a 5-minute wait to determine that the ball was foul, Bruce singled, as you said. But then Nate Robertson got Hannigan to hit into the double play.
I think Craig brings up a great point, and especially when you look at someone like Chris Coughlin, who is going through a real tough time right now. He's 0 for 2 tonight and 1 for his last 19. If this were to happen in June or July, you're saying, wow, he's just having one of those bad weeks.
Well, look at Dan Uggla. He was just kind of going along, but his 4-hit game put him over the 300 mark. He came into the game hitting over 320. So things change quickly early in the season. You can't really start judging until you get over 100 at bats.
Hannigan takes outside. You need a larger sample size. My partner has preached that from day one. So you would be a great pollster. You need the larger sample size. Oh my goodness. Deep left field. That's a blue seater. Ryan Hannigan. And the Reds have their second 3-run homer of the game. This is a game that would make Earl Weaver, South Florida resident, smile. A pair of 3-run homers.
Well, the first 6 games, the Marlins allowed 2 home runs. Against Cincinnati, they've given up 5 already.
Of course, these runs are all unearned because of the Cantu error.
I think when you see a game, if it continues to be a lead like this for Cincinnati, and Hannigan didn't waste any time, we will see Rainiel Pinto get some work to try to straighten himself out in this game.
Arroyo swings and misses. Struck him out on a breaking ball. The Reds, who hit 3 homers last night, have put 2 in the seats, 2 3-run shots. Marooney. Hey, South Florida, when you need a car, truck, or van, who are you going to call? 1-877-MAROONEY. Tobacco-free Florida. Escape the addiction of tobacco. Be free. Visit FloridaQuitline.com. By AT&T, your world delivered. And by Corona, kick back, relax with an ice cold Corona and lime. Enjoy a Corona today. Ryan Hannigan out of small Rollins College, delivering a 3-run home run.
Yeah, Rollins College over in the Orlando area. That's a nice combination that Dusty Baker has behind the plate. Hannigan, excellent defense. We saw the home run power, and Ramon Hernandez. Those are a couple of good catchers.
Bronson Arroyo to Hanley Ramirez. First start for Arroyo, 8 innings against the Cardinals, 4 hits, a run. So a total of 11 innings and just 2 runs allowed so far this year.
And you know what? If you go back to last year, his last 12 starts, he went 7 or more innings. So this is a guy, again, he takes the ball, goes out there, gives you innings, and gives you quality innings.
The knees. It's 1-2. Ryan from West Palm Beach wants to know, what is the public transportation going to look like for the new ballpark in 2012? I think a lot of those plans are still being finalized. I know there will be some shuttles.
Yeah, but there are plans for that.
Hanley sends it into the corner in right field, and that's a foul ball. Jay Bruce, a sliding try for it. There will be parking garages, and if you're a season ticket holder, you will get a designated spot depending on where you're going after the game. So you'll be able to exit the stadium in the right direction.
Yeah, if you're headed north, there'll be parking places on the north section of the stadium.
From the Tri-Rail, the nearest Tri-Rail station, there will be, from what we're told, the plans are right now to have some shuttles running from that Tri-Rail station to the new ballpark. I think it's about a 7 or 8 block walk from that Tri-Rail station to the new ballpark. Hanley takes outside. That's one to put on the list for David Sampson when we have him on with what I'm sure will be a series of ballpark updates from now until 2012. Marlins Live every week we have them on. Ball in the dirt. Cantu on deck, full count. Marlins trying to climb back in this one. The Reds up 6-1. It's a fair ball, rolling a quick release. And Hanley's got himself a base hit.
Scott Rowland knew that if he took his time, he would not have any time to make a play because of the speed of Hanley Ramirez. So he just tried to pick and fire and hopefully get a one-hopper right on line to Votto. It didn't work out, and Hanley gets an infield hit.
And we checked in with Craig Minervini. Craig?
Thank you, Rich. Jorge Cantu tonight looking to set a new Marlins record to start a season with 1 hit and at least 1 RBI in 7 straight games. Cliff Floyd also did it in 2001. And talking to Freddie Gonzalez today about Cantu, he said, you know, you rarely see him go up there and have a poor at bat, roll over the first pitch to somebody. Great approach. And he's been a terrific RBI guy as well with the Marlins, of course. His 12 ribbies now, second in the league heading into play, coming off the 100 RBI season.
Yeah, you're right, Craig. Cantu has been a tremendous pickup from the Reds, released after that 2007 season. That low strike has been called throughout the night by Jeff Kellogg, which makes Arroyo even more tough because oftentimes with a guy like Arroyo, if you see a ball coming in waist high and you identify it as a sinker and you lay off it, it's going to dip below the strike zone. Now, that pitch been has been called a strike tonight.
And that's perfect. Bronson Arroyo, once he gets ahead, 2 strikes, he tries to expand that strike zone. Dropped down with a slider and made Jorge Cantu chase it.
Our AT&T trivia question. Last night, Scott Rowland played in his 100th game versus Florida. Who's played the most games versus the Fish? I would go with Chipper Jones for 100. Who's played the most games against the Marlins? What individual player?
You got to think Braves. You got to think Phillies. Somebody on the Phillies, maybe.
That's why we showed Scott Rowland. Started his career with the Phillies.
Chipper Jones is a good guess, though.
How about Tony Armas Jr.? Wasn't there a span of about 5 or 6 years where
he could not beat the Marlins?
And he seemed to get them every series.
Yeah.
Whether he was
every series, the Marlins would get Javier Vasquez and Tony Armas Jr.
Whether he was an Expo or I think he was a national for a year. Douglas pops it into shallow right. Bruce comes charging in. And he makes the catch. So Arroyo continues to baffle. Tommy, this one is for you. I met you in February during the community caravan at the Marriott. I'm the sales manager that handled the group. I was pregnant with twins. Spoke to you in the lobby about your sweater vests. You were with one of the guys that worked in production, and he mentioned that I should just forward a picture of the boys once they were here. Attached is a photo of my twins, Daniel and Gabriel.
Ah, that's nice. Congratulations.
Paulino pops it up. And when we get back from this break, we will show you. All right, we got them. Oh, yeah.
Look at that.
Daniel and Gabriel.
Oh, with Marlins hats and outfits.
Nice. And we're just, every time we say something, someone hits a 3-run homer. 6-1, Reds on top of the Marlins. Press the SAP button on your set. And Raul and Cookie arrive.
Richie, Tommy, what's up? ¿Cómo están?
Richie, Tommy, how are you?
Hey, guys.
We're getting tired of watching 3-run homers fly out of here.
Boy, I'll tell you, 2 pitches right there by the waist, and they were taken care of.
Yes, they were. The Reds are, I can't believe, guys, as we looked at the stats from last year and the last few years, that the Reds are a team that has had trouble scoring runs, because you just look at this lineup, the youngsters like this guy, Drew Stubbs, Jay Bruce, Joey Votto, Brandon Phillips, Scott Rowland. This seems like a team that should this year score runs.
Not only that, but I mean, even before that, the years before, including last year, before they got these guys, I mean, the guys that they had in their place, Edwin Encarnacion and even Adam Dunn, I mean, those guys were run producers as well. So you're right, it is kind of odd to see that they've had their issues getting runs scored.
1-2 to Drew Stubbs.
Ahí le quitó a ese lanzamiento, ¿no?
And he fouls it at the plate. Guys, have a good show tonight.
You guys.
You too, guys.
All right. Talking to some people who follow the Reds. Of course, we've talked about Dave Collins having played for the Cincinnati Reds. There are a number of people who see the Reds day in and day out who told me that Drew Stubbs, there have been 3 guys over the last, say 25, 30 years who have had outstanding speed. Drew Stubbs, the most current, Dave Collins, the other, and Deion Sanders, the third. So that's the kind of speed they say Drew Stubbs has. Dave Collins was in that mix with Deion Sanders, and now Stubbs.
Orlando Cabrera. A 1 hopper to Hanley. Fires over to first. Time now for the Keep Your Edge Spotlight, brought to you by Just for Men Mustache and Beard. How about the edge of the foul pole? Now this one looked like a homer, was called a homer, but watch the edge of the foul pole. Nate Robertson said, hey, how about a review? Cody Ross said, no, it was foul. The umpires went in to look at the video. Here's what they saw. See it? Dusty, foul ball. Dusty Baker, who was smiling
I think Dusty knew all along, didn't he?
Knew all along. Just for Men, mustache and beard. Cantu makes the catch. Nate Robertson works a nice, tidy 8-pitch, 1-2-3 fifth. Florida native Bronson Arroyo right now dazzling the Florida Marlins. It's an email Tuesday. We invite you to get involved. Ask the Marlins at fox.com is our email address. And as well as our website, Tommy, tonight, we have a new interactive poll.
What is that? What is that
It's a
feature?
New feature. And it's text your answer to 789-789. Who's going to win the East this season? And your choices on that are A, the Braves, B, the Marlins, C, the Mets, D, the Phillies. We started this in the pregame, and that's where we stand. 45-45, Phillies and Marlins split. Cody Ross gets hit by a fastball that came up and in.
We talked about this score and how it would probably allow Freddie Gonzalez to get some work out of Raniel Pinto. Well, Pinto's warming up in the bullpen. The pitcher's up after Gabby Sanchez. And this is an opportunity to try to straighten him around, because, yes, he will be needed against some left-handed hitters, not only the rest of the year, but in Philadelphia this weekend.
Not even left-handed pitchers, right-handed pitchers. Nobody is getting the Phillies out early this season.
Yeah, we talked about Jimmy Rollins coming out of the game last night with a strained right calf. Jason Worth also had a little hip injury. He said it's not that bad.
Gabby rips one fair. Down the line it goes. Cody on his way to third. Into the corner goes Gomes. Ross to third. He'll be held there. Gabby Sanchez has his 4th double already. This is only game number 8.
Nice job of bringing his hands in and keeping this ball fair. This pitch drifts inside. If he hooks it, he hits it hard but pulls it foul. Look at his hands, how close they are. And by doing that, he keeps it fair. Gets it by Scott Rowland. And now the Marlins have a little something going against Bronson Arroyo.
Nate Robertson's night is done, and Mike Lamb is going to come up and pinch hit. So it's a 6-1 Reds lead. The Marlins have been on the other end of a ball game like this, as they had one of those leads slip away in New York. The Marlins ended up winning the ball game. Lamb. That one definitely is foul.
Let me tell you what goes through the head of a hitter like Mike Lamb in this situation. New organization. We saw him all spring getting a chance to play. Well, here now he started the season, and he's not been in the lineup. Just a few pinch hit appearances. He's new. He's trying to make an impression amongst his teammates and the fans. So he's thinking about getting that first base hit.
And that's hard, because as a pinch hitter, you get one shot a night at most.
This is a nice situation, though. You love to come in and pinch hit in a situation like this. Second and third, nobody out. Infield is back.
Watch his sleeve. Close. 2-2. Top of the order, Chris Coughlin is next. Arroyo's a guy that is known for getting deep in ball games. He threw 220 innings last year in his 33 starts. He's averaged, and this is his 5th year in Cincinnati, 34 starts and 220 innings in the 4 previous seasons as a Red. Cody Ross, Gabby Sanchez aboard. Knob of the bat or hand? Must have been knob of the bat.
Remember that pitch he got Chris Coughlin to pop up on? Very similar. He throws that big sweeping breaking ball, and his area where he wants it to get to a left-handed batter is right in there, up and in. Just kind of ties you up enough.
Count is 3-2. Chopper, Arroyo behind the mound. Good heads up by Cody Ross. But when it left, the bat knew that Arroyo would not have a play at the plate, and Lamb's going to pick up an RBI. Sanchez is still at second base. AT&T trivia question. Scott Rowland played his 100th game against the Marlins. Who's played the most games against the Fish?
I like your answer. Chipper Jones.
Answer is Chipper Jones, Andrew Jones, Jimmy Rollins.
Andrew Jones had a nice game last night for the White Sox. 3 for 4, hit a couple of home runs.
He is 2 teams removed, and yet he's still being paid by the Los Angeles Dodgers. A pretty good sum, and I think that contract runs through the next 2 or 3 years. Coughlin takes a breaking ball, and it's 1-1. Chris really has struggled tonight against Arroyo. He's gone out of the zone twice to pop up, once to third and once to second.
Well, you think about it, there really only been 2 balls hit real hard. Cody's double in the second and Gabby's double in this inning. And by the way, with Gabby at second on that chopper to Arroyo, he has to, because of the score, he has to be safe. He can't take off for third and risk getting thrown out over there.
That one's smoked foul.
The only way, if you're the runner in Gabby's situation, that you could go to third is if the ball got over the head of Arroyo and then bounced in the infield behind the mound. Then you can take off.
One, two, they want up and in. Have you noticed a pattern of pitchers trying to pitch Coughlin in as this season has started?
I think I've noticed that. He has said that guys are not pitching him any differently. It appears pitchers are trying to bust him in all the time. Got him in again. On his hands.
Got him out again. Coughlin is now 1 for his last 20. And that'll bring Cameron Maben up. Tim from West Palm Beach. How long have baseball players been placing their index finger outside of the glove? Bronson Arroyo is one of the few pitchers who puts his index finger out of the glove and doesn't have one of those little covers on it, because many pitchers feel when they do that, they will change the position of their finger depending on which pitch they're going to throw or how they're gripping it with the other hand.
Yeah, always afraid of tipping something off.
When did that start?
It had to start before I played, because I remember keeping a finger out of the glove, and guys would do that.
And then they started to design gloves that simply had a hole just for the index finger. I think that was called the Rawlings fastback model, where you just stick your finger out back in the 70s. One and two. 2 down, run across, but 1 waiting at third base. Arroyo has been an all-star. He was an all-star not as a Pirate or a Boston Red Sox, but as a Red in 2006.
Well, you talked about all those innings. He's won 67 games over the last 5 years. Well, you'd love to see Hanley get to the plate here in this inning.
Three-two into left field, base hit, and Maben drives home the run. The Marlins now are down by 3. Still a long ways to go in this ball game. Cameron comes through.
Yeah, that's nice. Nice piece of hitting and a good AB to keep the inning alive, bring Hanley to the plate, and also pick up another 2-out run. Marlins been able to do that tonight. Reaches down on that slow breaking ball, gets it past Orlando Cabrera. So an RBI single, Cameron's first RBI this year.
Arroyo trying to keep Maben close. Hanley has an infield single and he's bounced out.
When every once in a while he just sneaks that fastball, looks like a great pitch to hit, but after you've seen all the other stuff, you just don't identify it right away.
Hannigan, a very solid catcher behind the plate. Quick throw over.
Don't want to get picked off here.
Looks like Maben got something in his eye. Sean Cunningham, the Marlins trainer. Whatever it was has been removed. Hanley jumps on that ball. Center field. Stubbs back. Reaches. It's off his glove. Maben around third. Racing for the plate. Hanley's got an RBI double. 6-4.
And another big 2-out base hit, driving in a run. Hanley Ramirez drove that ball sharply. For a minute with Stubbs' speed, I thought he'd catch up to it. Mistake pitch by Arroyo. Looked like he was going to get it, but it got over his glove, over his head. He may have just ticked it a little bit. So Hanley produces a run, and the inning stays alive.
Brian Price, the pitching coach of the Reds, is out. Price, who had a nice run in Seattle and in Arizona, is often mistaken for Phil Mickelson, as he bears a resemblance to the golfer.
Now, if he went out there with a green jacket, we'd all be amazed.
He is one of the bright minds in baseball. When Bob Melvin was fired in Arizona, A.J. Hinch was hired. Hinch came out of the front office. They asked Brian Price to stay there, and he refused out of loyalty to Bob Melvin. And it didn't take long for him to find a job. So not only do the Reds have a bunch of good pitchers, good young pitchers, they have a very good pitching coach in Brian Price. Here's Cantu now. He takes outside. Our Lexus leaders. Runs batted in, National League. Jorge Cantu behind Pujols by 2 at JM Lexus. Price made us #1, 18 years and running. Click jmlexus.com to find out how.
Well, an opportunity for Jorge Cantu. You heard Craig talking about it earlier, to make it 8 consecutive games to start the year with at least a base hit and an RBI. The last Marlin to do that was Cliff Floyd in 2001.
Cantu, liner, left field, base hit. Gomes up with it. Hanley round third, coming home. Gomes' throw He's safe. How about this? The Marlins are within a run. Cantu delivers. He gets a hit and an RBI.
Well, he has now established that record with a hit and an RBI in 8 straight games to start the season. Look close at the plate. Gomes showed me a little something with the throw. Didn't know his arm was quite this good. He has the ball well before Hanley gets to third base. The throw just a little offline. A good slide by Hanley to the other side of the plate, and Hannigan can't quite get the tag on it.
And if you ever wonder why runners carry their batting glove in their right hand, watch Hanley's right hand as he slides. It's to prevent you from dragging that hand, injuring the wrist by keeping the glove in that hand. And so Hanley scores on the Cantu single. And here's Uggla. And the Reds bullpen starting to stir a little bit. 4 runs here in the 5th. Uggla was hoping to get one of those fastballs. Instead, he goes after the breaking ball. Cabrera makes the catch, but the Fish show some fight with 4 runs in the 5th. This is a 1-run game. April, including Bark at the Park, Scout Sleep Overnight, All You Can Eat Seats, and more. Cameron Maben part of a 4-run 5th, and the Marlins now, it's a 1-run game. Tommy, you were noting when we read the what could be described as an angry email about Reniel Pinto's uneven performance this year, that since it was a 6-1 game, Pinto was probably going to get some work. Well, it's a 6-5 game, and the Marlins have to use Pinto because they have gone to Clay Hensley and Burke Badenhot repeatedly.
Yeah, and I think Freddie wants to stay away from those 2 guys.
And
so you're right. Sooner or later,
you got to use them.
These guys have to perform, too.
So here is Pinto. Brandon Phillips, Scott Rowland, Johnny Gomes. Liner into right, and Cody Ross over to pick it up. The home stretch for the 2010 census. It's not too late. Fill out and mail back your census form today. Which is due first, taxes or the census form?
I think taxes. And I think there's a greater penalty for not getting that tax thing in than not getting the census thing in.
Scott Rowland.
So I'd focus on the tax thing.
We already had a tax email question tonight. Pinto's pitch lofted out into shallow left center, and Hanley is back there to get it. Our first sweater vest question of the year. It's an email from Zach in Vero Beach. There is now a fan page on Facebook, apparently, for Tommy Hutton's sweater vests. Now all the Marlin fans can become a friend of Tommy's sweater vest. Tommy's sweater vest ranks in the top 5 of all-time sweater vests. Jim Tressel apparently angry that his sweater vest does not have the swagger of Tommy's.
Yeah, I might add, both of us will probably break out the sweater vests on this coming road trip. It's going to be a little chilly in Philadelphia. We'll be in Denver after Houston. So there's a good chance. I know we packed them for New York, but the weather crossed us up.
Well, that answers another question from Lori and Ed, who want to know, it's a wardrobe question. Who picks the color of the day for your shirts? And are there any wardrobe fights before the show? Jeff Conine has started to influence our wardrobe choices a lot more. You know, Niner is Mr. Marlin, probably the first number to be retired as a Marlin since he joined the crew. He has a lot of clout. And so if Niner says go with blue, we go with blue. Niner today wanted black and blue. Into right, Cody Ross is there.
And so we try to accommodate.
Absolutely, and then we're sporting our...
We try to coordinate before a long road trip, too, which isn't always that easy.
Next homestand, we'll be sporting our 2010 edition of the Tommy Bahama shirts that we always wear.
So that's always good. That's fun.
Yeah. Tonight, we're in our new Nike golf shirts.
I may just keep this on tomorrow.
You can't do that. You can't do that. Then there will be wardrobe fights. And it won't be just me who will object. There's a lot of people behind this curtain who will want a new shirt.
Well, I think I have to wash it and get it ready for the trip.
Oh, well, in that case, knock yourself out. Lori and Ed, big fans, have been season ticket holders since 2003. Usually it's whatever's clean. That's what we go with. Swing and a miss.
So far, some good pitches. Think about it. Even the base hit that Brandon Phillips got to lead the inning off was hit off the end of the bat. So Pinto throwing the ball well here in this inning. Yeah, we will not be on television tomorrow night, so I think we need to let all the people up in Palm Beach Gardens know that. With Chris Volstad pitching, they may want to get down here.
Come and see Volstad take on the Reds. Homer Bailey, one of the fine young pitchers for the Reds, will be going. Another good pitch by Pinto. Coughlin comes charging in. Chris calling, and the wind took that one. He nearly caught that off the infield dirt. So Pinto, outstanding. 10 pitch inning for Reniel Pinto.
Down to 1 now, and thought we'd give you a video version of our Geico quote of the day. It just struck me when Freddie Gonzalez had a terrific quip today as he's looking at all the media. He looked at us and he said this to us. He said, "You guys in the red, the green, the blue, the black, you all look like a bunch of crayons, like Crayola with all those different colors." That was a great quote by Freddie in the middle of talking about Cantu and the bullpen and things that go on around his team.
You got to keep it light.
Good stuff.
A colorful group of media. We should have jumped in our shirts.
Yeah, everybody looked at him. They didn't know what he was talking about. And then he came back, well, you're in, somebody had a fuchsia logo in black. Josh Friedman on the right in the blue. I had the black. David V there.
Joe Fasaro.
Yeah, he's
Clark
what do you have?
Spencer.
Yep, green. So that was a good call by Freddie.
Paulino chops one to third. And Roland throws him out. Ronnie Paulino, Cody Ross, Gabby Sanchez against Bronson Arroyo. The Reds had a pair of 3-run homers. Scott Rowland hit 2 of them last night. But in this one, it's been Johnny Gomes and Ryan Hannigan who have hit the home runs. The Marlins have chipped back. They got a run in the second and pushed across 4 in the fifth.
Yeah, prior to this series, the Marlins had allowed just 2 home runs. David Wright, that opening day shot against Josh Johnson, and Matt Kemp hit one in the Dodgers series. But the Reds have gone deep 5 times in this series.
Dodgers hit a bunch of home runs in their win over Arizona today. The Dodgers,
that was their home opener.
9-5 win over the Diamondbacks. Ross takes a breaking ball for a strike. It's 0-2. Matt Kemp again. Andre Ethier back in the lineup. He homered. Casey Blake homered. And Manny hit one up to Mannywood. Mark Reynolds hit his 3rd for Arizona. The Mets are in Colorado. And that game is just underway. Pittsburgh in San Francisco. The Giants have won 2 in a row and are 6-1 on the season.
Giants getting outstanding starting pitching. Tim Lincecum, Matt Cain, Barry Zito.
The Rays are losing 3-0 thanks to Baltimore's Ty Wigginton. Wiggy with his first home run of the season. There's Jose Veras.
And also to the young left-hander, Brian Mattis.
A little broken bat shot. And there's 2 down. Miami Heat playoff action is on Sun Sports. Dwayne Wade leads the Heat as they drive for the title. Make sure you check out foxsportsflorida.com for all your Heat playoff coverage. Gabby Sanchez coming up.
That was Jason Jackson, studio host for the Heat. What's he doing wearing a Cincinnati hat?
He is from Ohio. AJ speaks to his left. One of our pregame producers. Sanchez yanked a double into the corner back in the 5th. Flied out back in the 2nd.
So Jason Jackson and AJ Speaks just kind of kicking back, relaxing a little baseball with the playoffs around the corner.
The Heat right now, the 5 seed in the East. Cabrera on the first in time. All right, back into the email bag when we return. This game is settled down 6-5. Reds. cam. Freeze it. Johnny Gomes. Eye contact. Back contact. Lift off. A lot of oohs and ahs you could hear. That was a Frostburg Coors Light freeze cam. There were oohs and ahs not only for Gomes, but for Ryan Hannigan. That was in the 4th. Hannigan hit a 3-run shot. Gomes' homer was a 3-run homer. And this is Hannigan in the 7th facing Reniel Pinto.
Well, second inning for Pinto had a nice 10-pitch inning in the 6th.
On an email Tuesday night, not only do we have emails, but we get in a lot of trouble during the game because invariably we'll get an email about a guy like Arthur Rhodes or about some odd website like the Parents Sweater Vest page you have on Facebook.
Not my page.
No, but there's this website someone sent us a link to called 10 pleasingly hideous baseball cards from the 70s. And it has...
I don't like where this is going.
No, well, it's got Reggie Jackson on it.
Oh, that's good. That's all right.
There's... How do you pronounce that guy's last name? Skip Jutz? Jutzy?
Jutzy.
Skip Jutzy from the Astros. That one's inside. Oscar Gamble because of his big hair. Jackie Brown from the Indians because they have the bad red uniforms.
Looks like softball unis.
Greg Moonman Minton because
you remember him.
His bad hat with the Giants. Rolly Fingers because of his mustache. Mike Barlow, who was just leaning against the batting cage. A guy named Joe Wallace who had a bad beard. And the number 10 is your 1980 Expo card.
You know the interesting thing about baseball cards, you never knew when the guy was going to show up to take the picture.
Here's one of the reasons you made the list, according to the author, about Tom Hutton in 1980. It looks like he's been worn out by his lot in life, but he's still game. It's like he knows it's not going to last forever, which is fitting since he's on the Montreal Expos, and the Expos didn't last forever.
What year was that card?
1980.
Yeah, it was coming. The career was coming to an end there. Yeah, the guy would show up from Topps, whoever was going to take the picture, and all of a sudden they'd say, hey, we got to snap your card, and you'd just turn around, and then you'd forget that forever it would be etched on a card.
That's pretty good stuff. The truck is working feverishly to get that card.
Oh, I'm sure they are.
Strike 3. As Arroyo...
I can make it easier for them. I'll actually bring them one if they really want one that bad.
He's got a stack of them in the back of his car. Here's the interactive poll we've got, and you can see the results. The Marlins at 52%. Who's going to win the East this season? The Fish bias coming in. The Mets at 6%. You know, I'll bet if you put the Nationals up there, they might get a few more votes than maybe the Mets.
I'm not going to touch it.
Yeah, I'm not. I am baiting you. You're right about that. Drew Stubbs is 0 for 3. You know what? Even this year, I think Met fans might lob a few votes for the Nationals. I think Met fans are not too pleased with the direction of their ball club and the misfortune they've had with all the injuries. The Reyes is back. Beltran is still a ways away. So is Daniel Murphy. And Reniel Pinto throwing well right now with 1 out, an 0-2 count on the red center fielder, Drew Stubbs.
This is a guy, if you're an infielder right now, you tell yourself on a ground ball, you make sure you get one because he's really tough to double up.
You just don't see guys 6'4", 205 run like this. And how he escaped Texas and the University of Texas without being a wide receiver is pretty impressive with his size and his speed. And he's a center fielder, so you would expect athletically he could catch the ball. Got him. Pinto,
at least on the kick return.
Pinto has struck out 2 here in the inning. And now he goes after Orlando Cabrera.
This is what has been frustrating for all. For us, for Freddie and the staff, for fans, for our emailers about Reynel Pinto. He has flashes when he comes in and throws exceptionally well. Good changeups, fastballs, gets ahead, has low pitch innings.
Cabrera takes a strike. We have an email from Colombia tonight, someone watching, and of course Orlando Cabrera and Edgar Renteria, the only 2 Colombians in the big leagues right now, though I think the Cardinals have a shortstop in their system. And this gentleman Juan wants to know, who do you consider to be the best Colombian player, Cabrera or Renteria?
That's a good question. I think right now, if you looked at the body of work, you'd have to lean toward Edgar Renteria. But no slouch, and certainly a tremendous career for Orlando Cabrera, who's been a World Series champion too.
Renteria a better offensive player, Cabrera a better defensive player in their career, body of work?
That's a tough call. That would be a great, every once in a while during the season we see groups of scouts sitting around the press room. That would be a great scout question.
He did not swing at that pitch. You could hear the crowd wanted it. And it's 2-1.
Defensively, both pretty steady.
Here's the 2-1. Chopper to third. Cantu goes the short way. Ugla is there. And Reynel Pinto, 2 scoreless innings.
We'll email Perry Hill.
6-5 Reds. Here comes Arthur Rhodes.
Things going. Cody Ross was hit by a pitch in the 5th inning. How about that base hit, the double by Gabby Sanchez? An infield out, but a run came in to score on pinch hitter Mike Lamb's RBI. Good hitting by Cameron Maben to stroke that ball into left field for an RBI. Hanley with a shot over the head of Drew Stubbs, the center fielder. The Marlins just kept going, and all of a sudden that guy Jorge Cantu came to the plate. 8 straight games he's gotten a hit and an RBI and made it a 1-run game, and that's how we stand now, 6-5. as the veteran Arthur Rhodes, who's in his 18th Major League season. He is, Rich, in his 23rd season as a professional. Fastballs and sliders still can get Major League hitters out, and he comes in to work this 7th inning.
And of course, the Marlins know that. The tail end of 2008, Arthur Rhodes made 25 appearances as a Marlin, and he was brilliant. 2-0 with an 0.68 ERA, and that earned him a very nice 2-year contract with the Cincinnati Reds for pretty big money for an 8th inning guy. And Arthur has been just that in his career. He has been an outstanding 8th inning guy, setting up closers in Baltimore, Seattle, Oakland, Cleveland, Philadelphia, Seattle again, then with the Fish, and now with Cincinnati.
Well, he has to deal with Emilio Bonifacio pinch hitting here to lead this inning off. I think we might see Bonifacio in one of the next couple of games get a start in the outfield.
Chopper towards short, and Cabrera throws him out. Bonifacio is out number 1. It's on to Chris Coughlin. Email bag, Adam sends this in. I'm a United States Marine stationed in Pensacola, Florida, but I'm from Jupiter. Loved the military special last night. I was in Iraq in 06, 07, and 08. Too bad I missed the boys in 2010. Longtime Marlin fan, just wondering about rumors of a Marlins uniform change and logo change and color change with the new stadium.
Yeah, I think all of those, all of the above will occur.
Including name change. It will be the Miami Marlins when the Marlins move in 2012.
And the club right now, because of that, has gotten away on the road uniforms. There's no longer Florida. This has Marlins.
Transitioning. Coughlin sends that one twisting and turning in the corner. Gomes runs it down.
Even occasionally when Chris has hit a ball pretty well, he's not been able to drop one in for a hit. So an 0 for 4 so far for Chris Coughlin.
We had a Marlin fan that you met on the Caravan, a woman that was pregnant, delivered twins, and sent us a photo of twins. And now we're getting inundated with pictures of twins. Mark and Bonnie from Raleigh, North Carolina, have sent us a picture of their twin girls. Maven's up. At the knees. Very nice. My first Marlins t-shirt.
That's terrific.
Got the little chairs to watch the game. Maven drove in a run with a single in the 5th. That one is foul. Casey in West Palm Beach wants to know, when will the Marlins host an all-star game? That has been discussed between the Marlins and Major League Baseball. There's a waiting list. I want to say 2015 is the next open date, and there's a possibility the Marlins might get that date.
Well, that could be a good chance, because now you're talking 3rd year into a new ballpark. Jose Veras getting loose.
I think the quote from Bob Dupay of Major League Baseball was that the Marlins are in the queue, so to speak. So they're in that rotation. They just need to get the call. Arthur Rhodes coming in and doing what Arthur Rhodes does so well. 1, 2, 3.
Ball game, the Reds leading, and my colleague and my good friend Jason Jackson is here with his son. Jordan's the
Marlins fan.
Jordan has the Marlin hat on. Look right to the right there, Jordan. And Jason, you grew up in Cincinnati.
I did. I want South Florida to know I love the Marlins, except when they're playing the Reds. That's all that is. No, we grew up, obviously, Big Red Machine, and then Wire to Wire in 1990. I was in college at the time. So a lot of love for a ball club that better make the postseason.
Well, your team will be going to the postseason, the one you guys, and Darrell Wright, the Heat small forward, is here as well, enjoying the game with his son, Devin. And you are a baseball player, too. You actually had some pro aspirations, yes?
Yeah, back in the days, my younger days, a lot of baseball experience and things like that. So I'm always out here having fun.
It's fun to come to the ball game. Well, the Heat certainly been on a roll. You're great on the road. Looking at the playoffs now, is there a seed you'd prefer in terms of who you're going to match up with? Atlanta, I guess, or Boston in the mix?
No, it doesn't matter to us. We're going to go out there, play hard, and we're going to take whoever it is. We're going to give them the best 7 games that we can, give them. So we're looking forward to whoever we play, and we're very excited about it.
I love them. I have never seen a Marlins hat with that. Where did you get that one?
You know what? I got this a few years ago. I just had to put a little flavor with it. What I mean? So that's all. It's a little flavor.
All right. Good to see you. Good luck in the playoffs. We'll see you on Sun Sports there.
Thank you.
All right, Darrell, Jace, good job there all year, and enjoy it. Should be fun. You think the Heat can make some noise this year?
I think match up really well with. I'm sorry. Am I watching the game and not talking? Is that what just happened?
Good luck in the NBA. That's enough for him. Take it away, guys.
Joey Votto just sending one down the line and doubling off of Jose Veras, who's come in to take over for Reniel Pinto.
Well, another guy who needs to right the ship, turn things around on the mound, as Jose Veras came in 3 2/3 innings. He'd given up 4 hits and 6 runs, and things don't get off to a good start. Good piece of hitting by Joey Votto to hit that line drive into left field for the 2-base hit. So now he has his work cut out for him.
Now he gets into Brandon Phillips, Scott Rowland, and Johnny Gomes in the Reds order. Phillips has 2 hits. As we saw last night, even though he's the cleanup hitter, he is not adverse to dropping down a bunt to move a runner up. Phillips last night did that with Votto at first, and Votto ended up scoring on the Scott Rowland single. You just made the point with Reniel Pinto, but you can see with Veras, a pitch like that, a fastball that starts out over the plate and comes tailing in on the hands of a quality big league hitter like Brandon Phillips. That's the reason that Veras has been able to pitch in the big leagues and have some success. There's a liner, and that's a fair ball, and into the corner it goes. Ross to pick it up. The Reds have their 7th run, and back-to-back doubles. 3 hits for Brandon Phillips.
Well, that run hurts because all of a sudden the Marlins, with their 4 spot in the 5th inning, crept within a run, and you wanted to keep the Reds from scoring fastball out over the plate. The command just isn't there for Jose Veras, who has had, as you said, some success a couple of years ago with the Mets or with the Yankees in 08, 60 games, a nice 3.60 ERA.
Rowland. Chopper, he's trying to push it to the right side. Veras picks it up and then flips to Sanchez. And there's a guy in Scott Rowland, longtime big leaguer, all-star, Gold Glover, World Series champion. Hit 2 bombs last night, and all he was trying to do was hit a pitch to the right side and move Phillips to third base.
That sends an unbelievable message to the Reds, the younger players on their team. We talked about the good mix they have with the veterans, and that move and that little chopper by Rowland sends a tremendous message of team play. How he just gave himself up to get the runner over to third.
And now Johnny Gomes to face Veras. Gomes hammered one into the seats, a 3-run homer in the second. Our Toyota trend, Toyota moving forward. Since 2007, August 24th, the Reds have won 13 of 18 games against the Marlins.
I tell you what, the Marlins have had a heck of a time winning games at Great American Ballpark.
Gomes muscles one into left field. And the Reds have 2 against Veras here in the 8th inning.
And he knows, Johnny Gomes knows right there the importance of the job that Scott Rowland did, because with the runner at third, the infield had to come in. All of a sudden, you feel like a much more confident hitter when you step in to hit with the infield in.
Jay Bruce now, 8-5 Cincinnati.
Cincinnati tonight has done a terrific job. Runners in scoring position, they're 4 for 6. They also have 9 hits tonight. 5 of those have been extra base hits. So unless the bullpen can right the ship and get consistent, the Marlins are going to have a lot of ups and downs in latter innings of the games.
One and one. Reds won in 10 innings last night, 6-5. Veras trying to pick at the outside corner against Bruce, and he's fallen behind 2-1. Yankees won today. They beat the Angels. Nick Johnson homering. Derek Jeter homer.
Yeah, I think Nick had a home run and a double in that game. The Yankees home opener.
And there's a quality changeup for a strike.
Yeah, the Yankees were sitting on a comfortable lead. All of a sudden, Bobby Abreu hit a grand slam for the Angels. And they had to, Yankees bring in their ace, Mariano Rivera, to close it out.
Two coming. Caught the corner. Jay Bruce not in agreement. The next Baker Concrete Super Saturday on May 1st features a post-game concert with salsa legend Willie Chirino. Following a fireworks spectacular, it's all presented by Badia Spices. Marlins and the Nationals at 7:10. Marlin fans will get a thunder stick. 1-877 Marlins. Actually, that's not correct. Marlin fans will get a pair of thunder sticks, not just one thunder stick. Yeah, you need two. Though some parents might hope that they would get one on the way in the ballpark and then one on the way out. Brian Hannigan, a 3-run homer in the fourth, bounced into a double play in the second. Veras taking over for Pinto, who took over for Nate Robertson. Robertson serving up 2 3-run homers. High pop, Cantu. But the Reds tack on 2 big insurance runs here in the 8th against Jose Barris. Hey, look out. Ryan Hannigan off of Robertson. Second 3-run homer for the Reds. The Reds had a comfortable 6-1 lead at that point. Lance Nix is in the ball game, and he's out in left field.
Yeah, we saw Logan Ondrusek, the big right-hander, last night. He's going to bat in that 6th spot that Johnny Gomes had, and Nix will hit in the number 9 spot. Yeah, Ondrusek came into the game last night and pitched very well. Inning in the 3rd, got an out in the 7th, had a 1-2-3 8th inning.
Well, the Marlins put 4 runs on the board in the 5th. Of course, waiting at the end of the bullpen is a guy that saved the game last night. One of the better closers in the National League, Francisco Cordero. Hanley, 2 more hits. Drove and run with a double in the 5th. And after the 1-0 pitch, he fouls it back.
A couple of strong arms in Logan Ondrusek and Nick Massett. We saw Massett last night as well as Ondrusek.
And just in watching the Reds bullpen these last 2 nights, their bullpen is definitely better than their bullpen's ERA coming into this series, which was up around 7. And that's in watching Massett, who had a big sequence last night, Ondrusek as well, Arthur Rhodes, who worked a very neat and tidy 7th inning in this ball game. Hanley, another hit to right field. So 3 for Hanley on the night, and the Marlins have life here in the 8th.
It was a swing like that that allowed Hanley to win the batting title last year at a .342 average. A lot of base hits the other way.
Cantu has bounced out, struck out, and has an RBI single. Ondrusek buries a strike at the knees. Into a little tapper foul. Last night the Marlins rallied in the 7th for a run to tie the game, and then would go on to lose it 6-5 in 10 innings. Oh, 2. And Cantu goes after a breaking ball. There's one out in the 8th. Bronson Arroyo stands to win this ball game if his bullpen can deliver it.
That's amazing when you see pitchers get ahead. We saw Bronson Arroyo do this a number of times. Get ahead, and then you try to get that hitter to chase your pitch. And Andrusic went out of the strike zone, good slider, and got Jorge to chase it.
Ugla. Outside corner. Arroyo 6 innings, 6 hits, 5 runs. Nate Robertson 5 innings, 5 hits, 6 runs, 3 of them earned. There was a Cantu error that kept that inning alive, in which Hannigan hit a 3-run homer. And so that made all of those runs unearned. Ugly with the count 1-1. Hanley's at first. Andrusic is 6'8". He's not John Roush-like. Roush at 6'11". Roush is actually
he's the closer,
settled into the closer role in Minnesota.
Yeah, with the injury to Joe Nathan. Wasn't quite sure what they were going to do, but all of a sudden the big guy, John Roush, has that job.
I think he celebrated by going out and getting another tattoo.
Andrusic throws harder than Roush, though. Roush, even though he's 6'10", 6'11", he's not an overpowering guy.
Two and 2. Going to look quiet tonight, 0 for 3. Last night had 3 hits, a couple of doubles. Down he goes.
A lot of strikes, a lot of sliders. That one looked like it backed up a little bit. And a couple of strikeouts. Jorge Cantu and Dan Ugla.
Here's Paulino. That pitch misses down low. We'll throw out a few more emails. James Stewart wants to know, can you tell me what those things are around the necks of some of the players? All teams, not just the Marlins, seem to wear them. They look like bicycle chains. I'm curious to know what they are and what they're used for. Andrusic has one of them.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of them. They're kind of a. I'm trying to think of the best way to describe it. Kind of like an energy thing, a thing to help to prevent injury. It's supposed to have some titanium in it.
You'll see a lot of golfers, especially on the senior tour,
on their wrists.
On their wrists. They feel that it gives them energy. Fightin' is one of the companies. So a lot of the players, baseball players, might probably see them on some football players as well.
And come August, you may see them on us.
Yes, just strap them to our head.
Trying to get a little energy.
Paulino walks, and that brings Ross to the plate.
Well, that brings a tying run to the plate.
And Cody certainly represents that. RBI double, hit by a pitch, and he's bounced out. Has not homered this year, has driven in 2 runs. And don't be surprised if he gets the night off tomorrow night.
Well, you think about it, all the production has been narrowed to just a few hitters. Chris Coughlin with just 1 RBI. Cameron picked up his first RBI tonight. You mentioned Cody has just 2, had 1 coming into the game.
One ball, 1 strike. Cantu, of course, with 13 RBIs. He picked up his 13th in this one. Hanley, as you noted, with 4. Paulino has 4.
The only guy in the National League with more than Jorge Cantu is Albert Pujols at 14, and he's not getting any tonight. They're not playing.
Cody Ross, left field. That ball's well hit. It's deep. It's gone. It's tied. How about that?
It's absolutely incredible. You can't keep them down. Bullpen comes in, gives up a couple. The Reds increase their lead. No problem. Cody Ross, 3-run shot.
In the 8th. Sanchez dribbles one up the middle. Cabrera. That's a base hit. A line drive that just snuck out near the clock in left field.
Well, the Reds have hit a couple of 3-run homers. There's a hanging slider, and Cody Ross sneaks it just by the clock. So the Marlins counter with their 3-run homer, their first one of tonight.
Reds pitching coach Brian Price is out to the mound. Wes Helms is going to pinch hit. And the Reds bullpen clops up a 3-run homer here in the 8th inning. Daniel Ray Herrera. A little screwballing lefty. Leo Nunez in the Marlins pen. Marlins have already used Mike Lamb and Emilio Bonifacio in this spot to pinch hit. Lamb drove in a run with a ground ball out. Bonifacio bounced out to open up the 7th.
It's amazing how many times we have to tell you what an exciting club this is to watch.
Up the middle, base hit. Sanchez around second. He'll stop there. Wes Helms delivers another pinch hit. Some things never change.
Nah, they don't. He has such a great approach, such great preparation, and he stings that ball right back up the middle, and that's going to be all for Logan Ondrusek.
With Coughlin due up, Dusty Baker is going to call on Herrera, whose best pitch is that screwball. The Fish have come back. Cody Ross, a big fly. Our Marooney called to the pen.
When you need a car, truck or van, who you gonna call? Marooney!
in the 9th inning in Cincinnati to tie a game. Then, of course, on Cowbell night, same year, same opponent, hit a 2-run shot to win the game, a walk-off shot against the Reds. And here tonight, a 3-run homer in the 8th to tie this game 8-8. Brian Barden will pinch run at second base. Wes Helms is at first, and it's Coghlan against Herrera. Coghlan takes outside. Now, Tommy, the screwball from a lefty is toughest on a right-handed hitter. Herrera does have other pitches.
Yeah, I think what it does, though, it makes him use his secondary pitches. His best pitch is that screwball. There's a little slider there. I believe both of the Cody Ross home runs you were referring to were both hit off Francisco Cordero.
They were. They both resulted in blown saves. One tied the game in Cincinnati, and one was the walk-off shot with all the cowbells. Herrera thought he caught the corner. It's 2-1.
I'll tell you a moment in time right now that would be a huge pick-me-up for Chris Coghlan to snap out of a little early season slump, to get himself a base hit that would put his ball club in the lead.
Look it over. Well, the Marlins have increased their speed at second with Barden running for Sanchez. And Herrera thought that was a strike.
7 of the 8 Marlins runs that they've scored tonight have come with 2 out.
Watch the Fox track.
There's the screwball, by the way.
And the data on it.
See, where it was caught, it appeared to be a strike. And you saw the difference in speed.
And Herrera walks Coghlan. And now it's Maben with the bags loaded. Ninth man to come to the plate of the inning.
Double duty in that Reds bullpen.
Now a ball in the dirt, if it gets to the screen, could mean a run. There's a strike.
Well, that pitch just floats up there and you tend to jump at it. You have to be so patient.
Came in with a fastball.
Yeah, and then he sneaks a little fastball up there that's at 85, but it looks a lot harder.
Well, when the screwball comes across at 58,
that might be the last fastball that Cameron Maben sees.
Bases filled with Marlins. Let's see if he throws the screwball. Yep.
And he has confidence in his catcher, Ryan Hannigan, who we've pointed out had such a terrific year defensively last year. He's a solid backstop. You have to have that to throw that pitch with this bases loaded situation.
One, two. Struck him out. Herrera with the screwball leaves the bags loaded. But the Marlins with Cody Ross pick up 3. A 3-run shot to left. And this game is tied. Leo Nunez in the ninth throws a strike to Lance Nix. 8-8 ball game thanks to a Cody Ross 3-run homer. Nunez in the ninth. As the rain starts to fall, that's Cantu over at first, and he steps on the bag. Helms stays in the game over at third. Cantu moves over to first, and the rain starts to come down.
Yeah, coming a little harder right now.
Here was that last pitch from Daniel Ray Herrera to Cameron Maven with the bases loaded.
That tantalizing screwball.
It looks low, but look where it crossed the plate.
Borderline great pitch. Just a great pitch.
Drew Stubbs fouls it back. Marlins used Nunez last night in the ninth, and he was perfect. Set down all three that he faced. Down front 0-2. You know, sometimes we get some emails that you look at and you say, I'm not going to read that one. And you just pass by it. I got one of those about 2 innings ago. And it's from Trish and Kendall. And she says, I've always wondered who would have the advantage when the games are played in the rain, the pitcher or the hitter? Does the rain actually weigh the ball down? And I thought to myself, no need for that. But here we are in the rain. In the ninth. So Tommy Hutton.
That's a good question. I think it affects the pitcher more than the hitter. Obviously, a hitter, it affects him. No problem with Leo Nunez here. Where it can affect the pitcher is possibly gripping the ball, possibly when he strides, if the mound starts to get a little wet and that plant foot slips out from under him. But it can affect both because the hitter has to deal with that as well.
Ask the Marlins at fox.com. Our email address. Orlando Cabrera's up. We had an email tonight from his native Colombia. Cabrera has one of those Hanley Ramirez helmets with the pine tar all over it. We get a lot of emails about that on how the helmets end up that way. You put the pine tar on your bat, put your batting gloves on the pine tar, and then adjust your helmet. Voila.
Yeah, I think some players feel a little more comfortable with it on the helmet than on the bat. Good fastball, good location there by Leo Nunez, keeping it down.
I've even seen some outfielders put pine tar on their pant legs to help them throwing the ball.
Yeah, I've seen some pitchers.
Uh-oh, ball to left. Coghlan going back. Track makes the catch. Orlando Cabrera, warning track shot to left center. The Marlins have a chance to win it. Hanley Ramirez will take his swings in the bottom of the ninth of an 8-8 game. down 8-5 in the 8th. And Cody Ross sent this one to left, and it just got out. And so here we are now in the bottom of the 9th. Hanley Ramirez, Jorge Cantu, and Dan Ugla. And it's Micah Owings who is out there. Owings, one of the best hitting pitchers in all the land.
Now they don't have to worry about double switches or any of that when they bring in Micah Owings. He's a career 300 hitter with 8 home runs. But as a pitcher, fastballs, sliders, and a changeup.
Hanley has 3 hits, 2 singles and an RBI double, has scored twice.
Marlins have won 2 games already this year in their final at bat.
I know Earl Weaver is a South Florida resident and watches the telecast. And Earl, if you're out there, this ball game is for you. 3 3-run homers. Weaver, of course, the great manager of the Baltimore Orioles. That one's outside. Hanley went after the fastball and tried to end it with one swing.
See where it is. Target is in. Good pitch. Good location, though, on that fastball from Owens.
Two. That looked like the changeup. And it's 3-2. So he went in hard and out soft.
Soft away. First changeup he threw in the sequence.
Hanley Ramirez has never had a walk-off hit in his young, brilliant career. Little squiver. Phillips has it and just gets Hanley.
Well, I tell you what, I give credit, and it shows you the confidence he has in it, to Michael Owings, and came back with a changeup in that situation. It's a great pitch.
Make sure you get your census in the mail, not too late. Fill it out, mail it back. Your census form today. You know, a lot of broadcasters in a lot of cities have car deals, clothing deals. Tommy and I got a deal this year. We got a free census form. Owings misses down low.
A census deal.
Yeah.
They said, come on, you guys, come to your census.
Here's the 1-0. Cantu rifles one, and that's why Scott Rowland has won a ton of Gold Gloves, 7 of them. That's a tremendous play. That's Brooks Robinson-like.
Yeah, he gets his body set, picks it. Well, there's a guy who loved him, worked with him a lot. Longtime Phillies coach, the late John Vukovich.
I talked to Rowland about our discussion last night, how the left side of that infield may have lost a step, but they make up for it in experience. And he said the drills that Vukovich showed him when he was coming up in the Phillies organization, the footwork, the fundamentals, he still uses that today. And he said that is what made him into a Gold Glove third baseman. Here's the 1-1. Ugla watches it outside. Owings shakes his head. Tim Wood in the bullpen.
This will be an interesting sequence the next couple of pitches because Owings knows Dan Ugla can hit a fastball. We've seen him throw some good changeups. Oh, he ran a fastball in. Last time he did that, he went away with a changeup.
Ugla and Owings both came up in the Diamondbacks organization, but Owings was a year behind Ugla. Was in Lancaster in 05, and in 06 Owings was in Tennessee, and that's the year, of course, that Ugla got to the big leagues after being plucked in the Rule 5 draft. His last year was with Tennessee in 05. Struck him out. Michael Owings makes quick work of Ramirez, Cantu, and Ugla. Just like last night, we're going to the 10th. Your world delivered. Well, here we are again in the 10th inning against the Reds. The Marlins and the Reds, who played 10 last night. Now, of course, last night the Reds got a run in the top of the 10th, brought in Francisco Cordero, and it was everybody drive home safely. Tim Wood for the Marlins will pitch the 10th. Last night it was Burke Badenhop. The Marlins, if at all possible, want to stay away from Badenhop and Clay Hensley, who have been worked a lot lately.
And if you start looking at benches, right now the only man left on Freddie Gonzalez's bench is John Baker. Dusty Baker in a little better situation with his bench. He has Giannis and Hernandez, Miguel Cairo, Dickerson's over there, so he has a little more guys, a few more guys left on his bench.
Liner into left center. Maben racing to cut it off. He won't get it. To the wall it goes. Votto, another double. Joey Votto is 2 for 4, both of them doubles. He doubled and scored in the 8th.
Cameron does a good job. Look at him playing over to the right, knowing how that carom was going to come right to him. That's a good play because if that ball trickles around out there in the triangle, Votto has himself a triple.
Well, last night in the 10th, we saw Brandon Phillips, the cleanup hitter, set down a bunt to move a runner up, and that turned into the winning run. So there's a chance he's going to try to drop one down here. Got Rolen, and then the pitcher spot after him. Or he could just try to shoot one to the right side.
And it could be one of those situations, Rich, where Dusty Baker said to Brandon Phillips, any way you can.
I think that swing was an indication of that.
So any way you feel comfortable doing, or maybe on the first pitch, first strike, go ahead and take a rip. If not, try to get him over any way you can. But Tim Wood pounding him with hard stuff inside. Tough to hit the other way. Here's a good fastball. Movement.
Let's see what he gets. 1 and 2. Paulino moves in, then out. Oh! Wow, just missed.
Probably did. Probably a little outside. Ronnie Paulino tries to just sneak it back, but it was outside.
Got him with a hard slider. Well, now he's got to get Scott rolling.
That's a slider that backed up. You hear that expression, back up slider. It's supposed to move away, and for whatever reason, just the release, it kind of backs up the other direction and it crosses up hitters.
Marlins want no part of Scott Rowland, and you can't blame them after watching his performance last night. 2 home runs, and then the game winner in this situation. This was Rollins at bat with Votto at second. That's what he did. Poked it to right field.
Well, remember we told you about Micah Owens and his proficiency as a hitter. He's going to be the hitter that'll step in after Roland is intentionally walked. A career 300 hitter with 8 home runs on his resume. And then after that, the left-hander, Jay Bruce.
Owings did win a Silver Slugger. Yes, they do give Silver Slugger awards to pitchers. How does that make the rest of the position players sitting on the bench feel?
He'll just look at him and say, hey, check the stats. This is his first AB this year, but he came in 51 base hits, 14 doubles, a couple of triples, and 8 home runs. Look at that.
Slider popped him up. Right field shallow. Ross calls, catches, and then fires a strike to Hanley. Tim Wood is 2/3 of the way around the leadoff double by Votto. But now he's got to get a pretty good left-handed stick. Francisco Cordero.
I don't know if he'll come in. He looks like he is because he's still down there throwing, but with Owings hitting, and it would not be a save situation.
Maybe he would only come in if the Reds score a run. If they don't score a run, maybe he doesn't.
I think if they don't score, we'll see Michael Owings back out there. We've talked about that. You don't want to waste your closer on the road in a tie game. You can do it at home.
But as Dusty knows, you've got to get him loose enough to where if they do score, he can come in. Popped up, infield, Hanley makes the catch. Leadoff double, no worries for Tim Wood. Gonzalez, Marlins manager, has got Ronnie Paulino, Cody Ross, and then the pitcher spot coming up. And it is indeed Micah Owings who is back out for the Reds. Here's a twist, though, Tommy, to Freddie Gonzalez's bench as Paulino stands in and takes a strike. The last man available is John Baker, and he had a bat. There he is. So you would think, if it means something, Baker will hit in the 3 spot. Paulino, center field. Too hard. Stubbs is there to make the catch. Here's the trick. The Marlins have been able to use Paulino and Baker as pinch hitters earlier in games than usual because they have 2 guys that can catch in an emergency. Gabby Sanchez and Mike Lamb, both who are out of the game.
Yeah, they are gone. And Baker steps into the on-deck circle.
Brian Barden has been used. Emilio Bonifacio has been used. Ross, of course, had the 3-run shot in the 8th to tie this game at 8. Oh, man, a fastball. And Cody had visions of a walk-off shot.
Again, if that fastball just runs inside. That was a pretty good pitch to hit, though. Cody just slung through it.
That's inside. Marlins have gone deep in their bullpen. So have the Reds. Owings lives on that outside black.
Well, the Marlins certainly have gone deep all year because they are playing their 3rd extra inning game already.
If Ross makes an out here, do you burn Baker, or do you think about like JJ coming up?
I would say no. You have JJ, the starting pitcher, on Thursday night. I would say no. I would say you use Baker if you have a chance to win the game. There's a man on or a man in scoring position.
There's JJ.
Okay.
As we suspected.
He's getting ready. He's getting ready.
He's got the elbow guard on. He probably had to go in and put his spikes on.
But you have to keep Bake. If there's nobody on base, you have to keep him as the ace in the hole.
Two pitch. Cody stays alive. Yeah, I mean, you don't want to 2 innings later come up and have to put JJ up in a spot with runners on base and a chance to win the game. Or if you think your best opportunity is give Bake a shot to get on and try to win it now. Because the Marlins bullpen is rather thin tonight. Oh, that's a fastball, and Cody took it.
Yeah, I think Freddie's just saying, you know what? This is a shot. 7 of the 8 runs the Marlins have scored tonight have come with 2 out. So if he can get a base hit here, who knows? You never know what's going to happen.
Big swings and misses a changeup.
Michael Owings, one of those many players out of that Atlanta area, the East Cobb baseball leagues.
That's right. McCann, Francoeur, Hermida, Matt Capps. And there's Bake rolling one into right field.
Wait around a little over 3 hours, get a chance to pinch hit and come up big.
Now Wes Helms with Coughlin on deck.
Tie game. Votto was playing a little bit more over toward the line, so that opening was nice and large on the right side.
And if you've just joined us and you're saying, well, then why have the Marlins used all the reserves and the Reds have a bunch of guys left? That's because the Reds had a big lead and the Marlins had to scratch and be real creative to get back in this game, and they've done it. Both managers have had to manage very different games. Dusty Baker and the Reds had a 6-1 lead, then an 8-5 lead. Helms delivered a pinch hit, his second of the season. That was back in the 8th. Got a slider. 1-2. Second straight night we've been to extra innings. Helms stays alive.
Remember when the Marlins saw John Maine in New York? It just didn't look right, wasn't throwing hard. Well, the Mets are down 8-0 in the top of the 5th, and Maine started that game, so another poor outing for the New York right-hander.
That's in Colorado. It's not a good place to have a poor outing.
Yeah.
Owings overthrew that one.
Hey, one of the keys here is a 2-2 count. If Owings should miss and a count runs full, now the Marlins get a little break because John Baker could be on the move with 2 outs.
Two. Baker is running.
Unless the scoreboard is wrong, and I don't think it is. Little adventurous.
He got a good jump.
He did. He got a very good jump.
That's the first thing I thought was, did we have the count wrong? But the scoreboard and our bug both have 2 and 2. Bake's not running, and Helms strikes out. Well, we shut down the email bag because, well, the game got tight. But let's open it up again. Ask the Marlins at Fox.com. it's open again. So send in your emails. Ask the Marlins at fox.com. Dan Meyer comes in out of the Marlins pen. The Marlins bullpen is rather thin because remember at the outset of the telecast we told you that Freddie would like to stay away from Burke Badenhop and Clay Hensley. And so everybody else is thrown in this game. Raniel Pinto 2 scoreless innings. Jose Veras gave up 2 runs, which were costly. But then Leo Nunez and Tim Wood both worked a scoreless inning. And now here is Meyer trying to keep this Reds offense off the board. 8-9-1 for the Reds. Hannigan, Nix, and Stubbs. And the first late inning with the Fish email is from Mike in Tallahassee. Do you guys get overtime pay for working extra innings?
No, Mike, we don't.
What about our crew? Guys in the truck? They do?
Yeah, the guys on our crew, I think they're the only ones that like extra innings.
Or was that heavy sarcasm coming from the truck? Hannigan, 3-run homer back in the 4th. Meyer catches the corner for a strike, and it's 0-1. Lazaro from Tallahassee. Boy, the emails are streaming in from Tallahassee right now. John Sulcer's favorite town. The longest Marlins game ever. How long was it? Wasn't that?
Was it a game?
A getaway game? You guys were flying to Arizona?
Yeah, it was a game against St. Louis on a Sunday. Yeah, getaway day. 18, 19, 20 innings. I forget exactly how many. 20 innings.
See, I don't need.
And then we hopped on a plane and flew to Arizona.
I don't need to hear the story from you. I just need to. I always get it from your wife. Always tells me that story because.
Well, that's true. Yeah.
She had come down to go on that trip with you, right?
On a trip, I said, well, just come up to the booth at the end of the game in the 9th inning. And she was able to see another 9 or 10 innings.
There's a liner to right, and Hannigan's got a base hit. So Ryan Hannigan has singled, and up comes Lance Nix. Giancarlo, a Miami native watching the Marlins from Atlanta on MLB.TV. He is a Georgia Tech student. Doesn't Tommy's baseball card from the Phillies make him look like Tom Petty? Do we still have that mustache shot?
Yeah, that wasn't from a baseball card.
Oh, it wasn't?
No, that was sitting in the dugout with the Boones. I think that shot.
It sounds like a sitcom.
Yeah. Chris Dickerson in to run for Hannigan. Here's where Dusty has a little advantage. He can make a few moves here. He's got his other catcher, Ramon Hernandez, available, so he's going to pinch run Dickerson, and then Hernandez will come in the game.
Nix came in the game as a defensive replacement. He's bounced out in his only at bat. Lefty on lefty. Nix drops it down. It's going to roll foul, and Meyer, who saw that happen to JJ on this homestand, a ball that was foul, rolled back fair before Josh could get there, and Meyer sweeps it foul.
Yeah, the quicker you get over there, the easier decision it becomes. And once that ball was on the dirt, Dan got it out of there.
From Augusta, Georgia, you think this game will end soon? I have to work in the morning. That's from Kerry. It's one of the beauties of baseball. There's no clocks, except our alarm clocks in the morning. Throw to first, Tom and Tamarack. I've always been curious about TV ratings for the Marlins broadcast, since so few fans attend the games. Do the Marlins have high ratings compared to other teams? generally the Marlins, at least in the last few seasons, have been right around the top third in baseball. Right around 12th or 13th in terms of cable ratings. So yes. As an example, the Game 2 telecast from New York was the highest cable program in this Miami market. Meyer picks up the bunt, flips over to first in time. The Reds have the go-ahead run on its second as Nix delivers a sacrifice. And Dusty Baker is going to leave it up to Drew Stubbs and Orlando Cabrera to drive in the run.
Yeah, we appreciate those who sit at home and watch these games. We hope we inform you, entertain you.
And the one thing we've learned about...
We'd like to see more out here, but that's just the way it is.
One thing we've learned about Email Tuesdays, about our viewing audience, is it's not just in the Miami metro area in Broward County, Palm Beach County, but it's all over Florida and it's all over the world. We've had well over 600 emails tonight. We had an Australian email, a Colombian email. Drew Stubbs, a long night, an 0 for 5. Meyer misses in.
And once again, with the prospect of the Reds taking the lead, Francisco Cordero gets loose. This is the second time that he's gotten himself close to ready.
The Reds have that luxury, Tommy, of just having him wait and wait, and they can bring in another arm. But the Marlins, as we told you, are trying to stay away from Hensley and Badenhop. They may not have that luxury. Nunez has already worked.
Yeah, Dusty Baker has Mike Lincoln, Nick Massett. I don't know if either of those are untouchable as far as how they've worked so far.
1-2. Meyer thought maybe he caught the corner. 2-2.
Freddie's still looking for that elusive laugher.
There weren't a lot of laughers last year for the Marlins. They played 50 one-run games. The Marlins were 30-20 in one-run games, the best record in the National League. He's fired up.
Yeah, he's fired up. He hung around extra innings. Got himself a souvenir. 3-1 this year in one-run games.
Let's go, David!
Inside the Marlins, the bullpen is set to premiere after this game. Dan Meyer will be one of the players mic'd up. Some real funny, good stuff he and Brian Sanchez during the spring. That's if this game ever does end. If not, we'll just go mic him up for this game. 2-2, and he spins out towards second.
I understand some funny stuff in the outtakes.
We haven't answered that fan's question about you looking like Tom Petty. Here's the 2-2. Hold foul.
I'm still free falling, so I don't know.
Well, the guys in the truck that are having to work overtime are efforting right now to. There it is. Now that's the card that was on that website that I talked about. The 10 pleasingly hideous baseball cards from the 70s.
Yeah, that's not the Tom Petty look. I didn't have the Tom Petty look that day.
I like the look of that card. Again, the description of that of that card.
Well, they're questioning choking up on the bat, and I'm saying, well, just check the stats and check out the walks and strikeouts ratio. That's all.
It says he knows as if it's not going to last forever, which is fitting.
That was true. That part was true.
Since he's on the Montreal Expos, and the Expos didn't last forever. And this, the guy who wrote that is an Expos fan. Lost him. Now here comes Cabrera. Orlando Cabrera is 1 for 5. Hard to believe that the Marlins have played 7 games before tonight and turned a grand total of 1 double play. But tonight, they've turned 2.
This guy's a tough out. He's in his long career, Orlando Cabrera has gotten a lot of clutch base hits. Looking back, he's been a guy who has not missed many games either. 7 times in his career he's played 150 games or more.
That's not easy for a shortstop. That ball's driven deep. Coughlin back. Wall reaches, dives, and he got it! Yes! He made the catch! Chris Coughlin! Oh my goodness!
Here's a kid who's been struggling with his offense and certainly did not let it affect his defense. That is an incredible catch. Think about it. He's making a dive on that rubberized warning track, and he knows he's not going to skid. He's going to hit and stick right up next to the wall. An incredible catch by Chris Coughlin. Thank you very much, says Dan Meyer. Whew.
But Meyer still needs to get Joey Votto to get out of the inning.
And guess who leads off the bottom of the 10th? Chris Coughlin. It's baseball law. Or 11th inning, excuse me.
You're right. Votto's doubled twice, and he fouls it back. Dickerson. Stubbs. Oh-2. Just missed him. And it's 2-2. Votto had such a big year last year. 5th in the National League in hitting. 4th in on-base percentage. 5th in slugging percentage.
Yeah, Joey Votto was 1 point ahead of Chris Coughlin with his .322 average.
Little broken bat over Hanley into center field. Maben up with it. Dickerson comes home and scores. And the Reds have a 9-8 lead, and Votto does it again.
Boy, that's a terrific at-bat and swing by Joey Votto. And remember, Dusty Baker had the luxury of pinch running Chris Dickerson. Almost had this ball, but it was shot out there very hard. Hanley Ramirez couldn't get to it. Votto with a sweet swing. And the Reds take the lead.
Now Meyer has to keep it at 1 run. And Brandon Phillips has 3 hits tonight. Off the glove of Helms. Up with the ball is Coghlan. Runner coming home. Throw to the plate is late. Stubbs will score. 10-8.
Well, what a night for Brandon Phillips. A couple of balls hit hard, the last 2 by Votto and Phillips.
Here's Rowland. So the catch by Coghlan, which looked like it would save the inning, just prolonged the agony. Meyer misses inside to Rowland. It's 2-0. Votto and Phillips on base. Rowland being patient. Nobody in the Marlins bullpen. Meyer is essentially the last man standing, unless in an emergency the Marlins had to go to Hensley or Badenhop. Both those 2 worked last night. Both those 2 worked on Sunday. Badenhop worked on Saturday. Hensley worked on Friday. Badenhop on Thursday. Meyer loads him up.
And he has thrown 30 pitches in this inning.
Randy St. Clair on his way out. The Reds are going to pinch hit for Owings because they're going to bring Cordero into the game.
And you know they have to make the move at the catching position because Dickerson came in to run for Hannigan, so it's going to be Ramon Hernandez. Yeah, I think this is one of those games, Rich, that on the outside, someone who didn't see the whole picture would say, well, Dusty Baker outmanaged Freddie Gonzalez tonight. He didn't. He was just able to because of the men he had left, because of the way the game was.
Yeah,
and what Freddie had to do earlier in the game.
He had an early lead. He had a starter that got deeper, the Marlins starter in Bronson Arroyo. The Marlins had to get creative to come back. They did. They tied it at 8, but the Reds have 2 here in the 11th. Ramon Hernandez. Meyer obviously has to throw strikes here.
Well, we've talked about really the 3 guys who have struggled the most, in Dan Meyer and Reynel Pinto and Jose Veras. These are guys that are going to be needed, and they're going to have to get it figured out or as I said last night, things would be tough.
I think when everybody asks the question, why do the Marlins keep using those guys if they're not getting out? The answer is right in front of you. Because here is a night where you could certainly use a Badenhop or a Hensley, but you can't because the Marlins have had to use them in tight spots because the others have struggled. Helms coming in after that pop-up. And he makes the catch. But the Reds put 2 on the board here in the 11th. Marlins need another comeback. Middle of the comeback and the extra inning win last night, delivering the go-ahead hit, and Ramon Hernandez, as expected, comes in behind the plate, and a guy who's been sort of warming up for the last 3 innings. He'll get up and leisurely throw just in case his team would take the lead in the top of the inning, and they finally did it in the 11th. So Francisco Cordero, just a few more tosses, and he's ready to rock and roll.
Well, it was Cordero last night who had a 1-2-3 10th inning and picked up save number 3 on the season. So he's trying to do the same. And how about the incredible catch of Chris Coghlan? It looked like it would really pump everybody up, and then the wind came out of the sails with the back-to-back big base hits.
Cordero grooves in a fastball. Here's the catch again, and this came with runners at first and second and 1 out. And Coghlan left his feet on that rubberized track. Fastballs, some changeups, and a breaking ball from Cordero.
And he'll throw in a splitter or 2. It just has all-around good stuff.
Yeah, he's no picnic. He's 35, out of the Dominican Republic, his 3rd year with the Reds. Down he goes. Coghlan tonight 0 for 5 and 1 for his last 22. Cordero misses to Cameron Maben. Robert and Davey, one of our final emails. He was at the 20-inning game in 2003 when Carl Pavano ultimately came into pitch. At what point would the Marlins consider putting someone like Anibal Sanchez into pitch if they have to save Hensley and the hopper? That's from Robert and Davey.
Can't rule that out.
But the Marlins have to get there first.
And I believe Carl was the losing pitcher in that game.
What's the longest game that you ever played?
Not sure the longest game, but I remember a doubleheader that started late, rain delays. Second game was extra innings, and it ended about 3 or 4 in the morning.
At the Vet?
At the Vet. Yeah, a rainy night at the Vet.
A lot going on around the Vet at 3 or 4 in the morning. Maben down on strikes. Cordero's made quick work of Coghlan and Maben. And all that stands between Cordero and save number 4, the Reds and win number 5, is Hanley Ramirez. Fastball is a strike from Cordero. No television tomorrow, so come out to the ballpark or listen on the Marlins radio network. Chris Volstad and Homer Bailey. This is a night that Homer Bailey should have pitched. The Reds hit 2 3-run homers. The Marlins had a 3-run shot. But in the end, it's the Reds, just like last night. The Marlins tie it, get to extra innings, only to have the Reds win it. And tonight, 2